allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Our presentation this morning is by our HR Director, Dr. Tia Alston-Bing, to present the 2025 Summer Intern Program. Good morning, Dr. Tab.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and Council. I'm excited for this presentation this morning as we wrap up our summer internship program. It's been an amazing 10 weeks. We are excited for you to see this presentation this morning, but before we do that, I just want to give a few words for our program this morning. As we wrap up another successful summer internship program, I want to take a moment to celebrate the incredible contributions made by our summer interns, as well as the departments that welcomed them. This summer, our interns brought more than energy, synergy, fresh ideas, and a genuine eagerness to learn, whether it was assisting us with special projects, supporting day-to-day operations, or just engaging with the public here at Peachtree City. I think each of our interns showed professionalism, they showed promise, and they definitely showed uncompromised excellence. And we are very proud of them. The way that they represented themselves is just a testament to the future of public service. I also want to thank each of our departments that hosted an intern and mentored these young students. Your guidance, your patience, your willingness to invest time, your time, into our summer interns really made this experience meaningful, and I think I speak for the interns when I say that, and just listening to them in our very last kind of wrap-up National Intern Day last week. So I think I can speak for them when I say that. But our departments basically helped to shape their understanding of civic responsibility and what that means, and gave them an inside look. I like to call it a worm's eye view versus a bird's eye view, because they really dug deep into local government operations, and I think that they learned what it means to serve our community. So I just wanted to thank the departments. I definitely want to thank our summer interns, and to our mayor and council and city managers. We really appreciate this program. We're all about just investing in the future of local government, and we like to tap into that early. And hearing some of their future aspirations and how they've really solidified their degree focuses and their future goals, it's really impactful. So I want to bring up the summer cohort president at the moment, Miss Alexis Holland, and she's going to introduce this video to you all. And then after the video, Mayor and Council, if you have any questions, Alexis is going to take those questions this morning. So if she would come to the podium.
Good morning, Mayor and Council, and quite a large audience that I was not expecting, but I'm very excited for.
Welcome to our world.
My name is Alexis Hollett. I had the privilege to serve as the public communications intern, as well as the cohort president for the 2025 Drivers of Success. That was our chosen name. My cohort did amazing work this summer. I'm so proud of each and every one of them, and I'm so amazed by all of their interests and the time that they spent to really learn all of the daily tasks they had to do, and all of the skills that they got to showcase. Each member of the cohort took the time to sit down and interview to go over their 3 drivers of success from the summer. So 3 of their big main projects, their ongoing work. So yeah, I'm really excited to show off their knowledge and their excitement to take these skills on to the future.
Need some volume.
Sound. Do over.
Our cohort took the time to sit down and explain their 3 drivers of success from this summer. So without further ado, enjoy. So in Peachtree City, the fire department tries to be a really big part of the community. It's really important for the department to have that contact with the community, to go out to community events, and we love to post pictures and videos of like training events that we're doing, so that if there is an incident and someone has someone show up to either a fire or like a medical emergency, these aren't just random strangers. So one of my kind of ongoing drivers has been, again, just social media. I've actually been having a lot of fun with TikTok. I have been very surprised with how willing some of the firefighters are to be really silly and goofy.
I woke up in a new Bugatti.
Just kind of really commit to whatever silly bit I ask of them. When I started this summer, the TikTok had under 2,000 followers, and last I checked it was at almost 9,000. We've been able to kind of learn what people like, what are people really interested in seeing on TikTok specifically. But next year, 2026, will be the 60th anniversary of the Peachtree City Fire Department. One of the main things that my supervisors wanted me to do was to kind of come up with a social media campaign that would be ongoing throughout the year. So I have been kind of curating a whole campaign. Anytime I have downtime, I'm going through old archived photos, trying to come up with the best way to post them, to kind of curate it into something for the department. One thing that I have really enjoyed is helping to launch the department's peer support program. Peer support is basically just a program where the firefighters can go to some of their peers who have been specially trained if they just need kind of a listening ear. The program officially launched this summer, last month in June, and I was able to kind of help go through some of the policies, and I have a background working in mental health. And with that experience, I was able to help kind of give some insight into, what might be important to focus on, what's maybe not as important, as well as kind of come up with some resources that are here in the community for the firefighters to go to if they need a higher level of care.
I always knew that I wanted to do human resources, in high school and transitioning into college, that was a passion of mine. And it's really nice because I live in Peachtree City, so to be able to take a step back and look behind the scenes was just so appealing to me. My first driver of success was scanning things into Laserfish. So we're moving into digitizing our files and most of our processes, just to get rid of that extra element of the paper. There's a lot of files dating from the year back, 2024 moving forward, that have not been scanned into Laserfish, which is our digitizing platform. It just optimizes our processes. It makes things very easy to find, and it's very well organized. Going through the documents has actually been pretty enjoyable because I haven't seen a lot of them firsthand. I've heard of them, so it was really interesting to kind of sit down and put my hands on the forms that I hear about. PTC University, which is through UKG Learning, that was a part of my second driver of success, the course catalogs. We have over 120 job descriptions for the city of Peachtree City. My second driver of success was to take each job description and create a course catalog of 5 to 10 courses to offer for that specific job description. So I used AI and I used some of the trending topics just from SHRM or from other HR databases, and some other cities and counties who have done continuous learning and professional development in a university-style system. My third driver of success was the position control sheet. So what that is it has a different sheet for every department in the city, and it has their position, who's in it, and their budget, like the budget for that position. So what I did was I took a report that we used, generated from BSNA, and I only did the non-exempt employees. I used the hourly rate from the report, and I turned around and updated each formula. But it was really cool to kind of just see how much of the budget we really touch. I love interviews. I love interviews. Kiera put it best. She said, I love having the opportunity to give other people an opportunity. Listening to candidates and just what they bring to the table and how we as the city of Peachtree City could possibly integrate them into our routine, like, is really rewarding.
I go to Georgia Tech, and there everyone has an internship. And so I always knew I wanted to do an internship. I saw it on LinkedIn, and I said, well, this will be perfect because, you know, I live full-time in Peachtree City during the summers. Once I did more research, especially into the recreation and special events internship, it was kind of the best of both worlds where I could do things within my interests, but also my specialty. My first driver of success, I have been promoting our Instagram, being able to get the word out to more people, especially with the Instagram, we get to younger ages, so that's been really exciting. I've been doing a program for the 2018 Little League World Series team. All those kids have graduated now, and so just highlighting our recreation and our sports. I do all the editing, I do the interviews, I sort of run that whole thing. The whole part of this internship is not just recreation, it's not just Parks and Rec, it is also special events. So that was something that was new to me. I really didn't have a lot of special events experience before this. It's been eye-opening to say the least because there's so much that goes into it that nobody knows. We did the home run derby for the MLB home run derby. We just hosted a live streaming event, and that was a whole lot of fun. Just a lot of people giving positive feedback, which, you know, is always good to hear, and just people like excited. I personally really enjoy just the community atmosphere, and I feel like with those events we really had that. My third driver of success has been my graphic design work, and it's been something like I've always been very passionate about graphic design. It's part of my major, and really getting an opportunity to just have my own way with it, honestly. They give me the dates, the times, and then they say, we trust you. One thing that we launched recently was the PTC Passports program. We made these little passports. In the front is like a PTC passport, in the back it has spots for you to get stamps at parks. So creating promotional material for that, creating maps, and creating those little activities. It was full circle, you know, with me making that special event.
Love libraries and the feel of them. I'm a big bookworm, so I practically grew up in libraries as a kid. So. I went to a work fair. Fayette County was hosting a work fair, and I saw that there was an internship at a library, and I was like, ooh, I love libraries, let me just sign up. My first driver of success this summer was helping lead and plan events. Like, I prepared the story time room for events such as the Lego program or make and take crafts and things like that, and then I just am in there during the event just in case anyone needs help or to help with seating and all that stuff. Yeah. I got to actually make a craft for the make and take craft, so we made little DIY journals for all the kids, and so I was able to do that all by myself, like prepare the crafts, perfect it and everything, and then be in there helping out with the kids and doing all that stuff. It's this sweet little girl who came up to me to show me a craft, and she was so excited about it. She's like, thank you for planning this craft and all that stuff, and it was so cute. I do pretty much the majority of the shelving and helping to straighten up, especially after like a wave of people comes into the library. Specifically in children's, so I'll do like nonfiction, picture books, and chapter books, but solely in children's. Especially because I knew my way around the library and I knew mostly how things are shelved. So I think I was a big help when working here because it didn't take me as long to learn and get used to shelving. Been fun actually getting to know everyone. So this is my first customer service job because I mean I used to work with my mom helping her do bookkeeping, but I didn't really get to speak with the client one-on-one. I was more behind the scenes, so more of the customer service and definitely multitasking. I've gotten a lot better at that. It gets very busy, especially in the afternoons, and so sometimes I'll be shelving and I'm like, oh no, and I have to help this person and I have to do this, so it's like getting good at multitasking.
I have honestly grown up in the area of Peachtree City. I went to elementary school here, so it's like been basically a big part of my life, like my second home. So when I found out about the internship here, I wanted to kind of narrow it down to some choices, and what originally drew me to the Public Works department was how involved in STEM concepts it really is. My first driver of success has been classifying the cart path system to match the original road classification system, and I've been trying to use the same road classification system that we have and apply that to the cart path system to be able to prioritize when the cart paths are repaved. My second driver of success was being a part of the PAC parking lot mapping, and this is in collaboration with Mahika, the engineering department's intern. We will be mapping out the new areas and getting them to be more efficient for safety reasons, as well as adhering to the traffic flow, utilizing the new spaces that have been added, and deciding really if they will be straight or at a 90-degree angle, because all of this comes into play when deciding how to maximize the amount of spaces that can fit into the parking lot. I have been taking pictures and videos in order to put them on the website and update the public and kind of get more engagement. These are some of the pictures that I've taken and uploaded onto the site, the road repaving list, and then the new hours of recycling, just to make sure that everyone's updated and cognizant of what's going on. And I have also been making a little series on TikTok in order to let people know what goes on a weekly basis, and it's been just kind of a more creative way to get outreach with the city.
I love Peachtree City, and I moved here 4 years ago, so seeing the CVB's Instagram and newsletters and showing off what Peachtree City had to offer was a very valuable place of information for us moving in here. And I'm also interested in pursuing a career in marketing, so being able to manage the Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn here really helps me like doing that. And I found it on Instagram, so it was a full circle moment. So the CVB is more focused on driving traffic into Peachtree City. So we're more focused on outside like travel to bring business meetings, retreats, family reunions here, big parties to fill the hotel room nights. My first driver of success is redesigning collateral for the CVB. So we recently went through a new redesign, which is our new logo, Visit Peachtree City. And it shows the serene, kind of calm aspect of Peachtree City with all of our paths and stuff. So I've been working on redesigning all of our pamphlets, materials, and all of the things that we had and switching it over and fitting it into our brand guidelines. So currently I run the Instagram and Facebook. So I have done weekly roundups, foodie Fridays, throwback Thursdays. So I've been posting a lot and just showcasing beautiful photos that we have here in Peachtree City and what's there to do. So we've been establishing partnerships with companies outside of Peachtree City, so we can kind of lean on them and they can lean on us. So for example, if Trilith has an event, but they don't have enough hotel room spaces, they can reach out to us and we can accommodate that and have them sleep in our rooms, book our rooms, but go to the Trilith event, and vice versa. My most memorable one is definitely going to the Trilith Live construction experience. It was really cool getting a behind the scenes look and being able to talk to professionals in the construction of such a large venue. And it was just fun touring and seeing it before it's fully finished. We also went to Doc Brown's Whiskey Farm, and that was a great experience as well because we were able to meet the owner and get the vibe of what they really wanted for our Wine, Whiskey, and Warburgs event. So it was a great collaboration and just experience to be able to figure out what her company was and the message they'd like to send for an event.
I am actually interested in civil and environmental engineering, and so I was just looking for any sort of experience I could get over the summer before my senior year that involved that field, and I didn't really care what type of engineering it was. I just wanted to kind of get my hands wet. And in the interview, when I found out it was civil and environmental engineering related, I was overjoyed. So my first driver of success is a project that I've been working on regarding the golf cart ramps around the city. And that's just where the golf cart path meets the road. And it's really important to make sure that people with disabilities or different accessibility needs can access those ramps safely. And so what I've been doing is collecting data on them and ensuring that they comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act and SPRO Act. And so I've been driving around the city vehicles every few days, gathering data, organizing it. Another project that the engineering department gets to do is help keep track of all the assets at the city's buildings. And so these include things like HVAC units, refrigerators, water fountains, etc. And so what we do is we make sure that we have pictures and the different identification information about it, so serial numbers, model numbers, and any maintenance history. And this is just so that we can make sure that everything is accounted for and that the different assets that the city has purchased are able to run for as long as they can. Arguably one of my favorite projects that I've gotten to work on is collecting water samples from the different recreational water bodies around the city. And what we do is we check for toxic algae, which is really important because we want to make sure that our citizens and any of the living organisms in those bodies of water are safe. And so I go out every Wednesday and I go around to all of the 11 different locations. It also involves community interaction because people who are curious will ask questions. And I like to explain to them like what I'm doing, and also I think it helps them kind of see that the city cares about them. And I really just like working with other people in general. So it's just been really memorable getting to shadow everyone because they've been really amazing in showing me what the engineering department gets to do for the city, and also what engineers get to do in general, what their day-to-day life looks like. And it's really solidified civil engineering for me as a future career.
So I'm from Peachtree City. I was excited to find a position where I wasn't just copywriting, where I wasn't just doing video production. One of the things that I've really loved about this position is just how, one, interdisciplinary it is, but also how I work so frequently and closely with other departments. I've worked with rec, I've worked with fire, but I've also just met with a bunch of different departments to talk about how they handle their social media, but also other projects they might need help on. I helped to design a handout for our new economic development manager, and I've also worked with Public Works and Engineering. We've been making a little TikTok series with the interns just to kind of help update the general public on what's going on, but in a fun and engaging way. So I would say that my biggest driver of success this summer has been assisting in telling Peachtree City's story. Summer is full of a lot of events, but even just the day-to-day, we always like to go out and take pictures and take videos of things that are going on. So I help to take photos and videos and then edit those to be posted on our social media, but also to be archived and used in collateral. One of the big things that we just finished up was the 4th of July. I was tasked with creating a content marketing strategy to promote the events that we have going on. So that included making a content calendar, essentially like a playbook of all of the different posts that we were going to be making. This included helping create videos about like fireworks safety with the fire department, creating funny videos on some of our instructions for how to best enjoy the 4th of July with recreation, but also just kind of like teaser posts and graphics, especially since we had some new additions this year. So it was a pretty big deal to make sure that we were getting the word out there. So I've really enjoyed working on refining and revising our communication strategy. So that's included making some additions to our brand guide and also working through and revising an old communication strategy plan to reflect the way that our current department runs and our current goals. It is important to have things like a brand guide to make sure that our communication is coming off as professional but also recognizable for the general public to know this is official information coming from the city. I've really been enjoying creating this video that we're watching right now. Our cohort wanted to do a video for this project to kind of present everything that we've done this summer and all the great work that we've done. And so I've had a great time being able to talk to a bunch of interns, getting to connect with them on a deeper level, being able to sit and interview with them, talk to them about what they've been doing and how excited they are to see the skills that they've learned here translating to the future. If you could describe your internship experience with the city of Peachtree City in one word, what would it be?
Inspiring.
Memorable.
Transformative.
Fire.
Illuminating.
Immersive.
Enriching.
Pivotal.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
We love you, Peachtree City!
Thank you so much for that. I was on the phone with the mayor of Douglasville not too long ago, and she still touts the internship program that Dr. Tabb started there, and now we're enjoying it here. I want to point out that these 8 interns were selected from over 600 applications. It's easy to see their enthusiasm and professionalism to the benefit of our community. So thank you so much. Please join me one more time in thanking them. Do we have public comment?
Madam Mayor, we have 7 individuals signed up to speak. First signed up is Jim Forrestal.
Good morning. I'm Jim Forrestal. I live in Spooner Ridge subdivision here in Peachtree City, in case you forgot. I'm here to talk hockey. If you remember last spring, I told you we have really talented hockey players in our Peachtree City Recreation Hockey League. Many of these players want to play more advanced hockey, and travel team hockey is the solution. Unfortunately, this is not offered locally. It is offered in Atlanta. Some of our best players that can afford to do so have already left and are leaving our rec league to play more advanced travel team hockey offered in Atlanta. However, not everyone can afford to do this. So we have formed a new travel league and named it the Fayette Hockey Club. Our travel team club will allow our talented hockey players to stay local, train and compete at a higher level, avoid travel time to Atlanta, and save their parents and grandparents money. The Atlanta hockey travel teams are in high demand and very, very expensive. We want to thank Harold Layton, who's worked with us this summer to become a new Peachtree City sport, which requires city council approval. We really want to get our travel league season started at the beginning of September. However, we do have a potential problem. We may not be able to obtain an IRS 501c determination letter before the August 21st City Council meeting. The IRS, like other federal agencies, is backed up. Thus, we may be asking the city to conditionally recognize us until we can get the 501c status. You can see by our hockey family team in the attendance today, we are serious about getting travel team hockey going in our local area. The new Fayette Hockey Club, along with the existing Recreation Peachtree City Hockey Association, will provide our hockey players the ability to develop basic and advanced hockey skills locally, as well as generate a little more revenue for the city. Our coordinated rink time on Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4 will not conflict with the rec league, so our Peachtree City hockey players can do both rec league and travel league if they want. We appreciate your time and hope you will approve this new Peachtree City Sports League at the next City Council meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Lloyd Smith.
First of all, let me say what inspiring it was to see these young
Could you tell us where
women-
you live, please?
I'm sorry?
Tell us
See
where you
these young
live.
women coming up on the screen. If this is the future of Peachtree City, we're in very good hands. First, and then my name is Lloyd Smith, and I am the president of the Peachtree City Fayette Pickleball Club. We have approximately 700 members, and 500 of them live in Peachtree City. Recently, our club was asked to teach how to teach pickleball to all the PE teachers in middle and high school for Fayette County, and we were glad to do so. But we learned that there's a lot of misinformation out there. And in fact, as I go along and I watch, and I see more and more kids playing, teenagers playing at Log House, I see that they are playing this game wrong. And I want to rectify that. I'm hoping that this summer we can work with Park and Recreation and start a summer youth program where we train the youth to play pickleball. We will provide experienced, certified coaches. We will provide all the balls, paddles, and even a pickleball machine to get the youth in Peachtree City playing correctly and have fun and do it safely. We will do this at absolutely no charge to the city or the students. We just want to be able to give back to what we have received for so many years. The other thing is the next number of months, as we move forward with building 18 courts, we're going to see a lot of drawings and specifications. We have a lot of talent and knowledge in our pickleball club, and we can be a resource to looking over these drawings and specifications. Just behind the scenes, not working with the contractor, but just take our advice. We have some knowledge and we can be a resource and help with that. The other thing, I want to thank the City Council. I've been up here now or talking for approximately 3 years. You've always listened to me. I've got guidance. I've been told what you can do. I've been told what you can't do. And I've never have anybody tell me that, well, you're absolutely wrong, and I thank you all for listening and listening to what I have to say and thinking about it. As we move forward with the courts, I understand that Laura and Justin worked hard to getting the present location for the new courts, and I want to thank them for working above and beyond. Thank you two very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Jeff Williams.
Could you hold your applause, please? We want to hear everyone.
Good morning, Mayor, Council, City staff. My name's Jeff Williams. I'm here with my wife, Andy. We're 30-year residents of the Interlochen subdivision. Raised our kids here. We love Peachtree City. I'm excited, as a lot of other people are here, as you can imagine, to hear about a plan, a concrete plan to move forward with an 18-court new pickleball facility. 18 courts means yes to a space with enough court play to allow people of all ages and all skill levels to play together at one time. It means yes to the ability to host tournaments and events that put people in hotel rooms, get people eating at the local restaurants, shopping at the local stores, and also generates fees and tax revenue for the city. It means yes to investing in our youth and families, as this is one of the few sports that a family can play together at low to no cost. So as I mentioned, we're very excited about that. We're excited about the council supporting the strategic pillar of a healthy, active community. So we're excited, but honestly, we're also a little bit nervous. And the reason we're nervous is we understand there's a possible proposal on the table for a 12-court facility, which would be totally inadequate, particularly with the possible closure of the Log House courts. A 12-court facility is going to keep us all in our little silos of either having to be a member to pay at a facility with smaller courts, or going to a public court at prime time and not having the opportunity to play because the courts are full. A 12-court facility also means no to those other things. It means no to the ability to host tournaments. It means no to supporting local businesses and hotels and shops and things like that. It's been almost 2.5 years since the SPLOST was passed, promising new courts. The pickleball community, as you probably know, turned out very strongly to support that SPLOST. And I would imagine that we will continue to be very involved in local elections and things that are of our interest. So pickleball continues to be the fastest growing participant sport in the country. It's not a fad. It's not going away. All you have to do is go to any of the local courts in the evening or on weekends and see the avalanche of young people that are taking up the sport. So we ask the mayor and the city council to fulfill the stated desire on your website of Peachtree City's uncompromised excellence and vote yes to a new 18-court facility. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
John Riley.
See if I need these things. I think I do. Good morning. Ms. Mayor, Council, my name is John Riley. I live in the Retreat subdivision, as you know, directly behind the Braylon pickleball courts. I know we have a lot of people speaking today, so I will be short and sweet, I promise. On the agenda is a pickleball Mead site update. Chris, we're looking forward to hearing about that. I understand we'll be getting a look at preliminary proposals for 12 and 18 courts. I'd like to make a brief pitch for 18. Every day, Peachtree City residents load up their cars and head to Griffin to play pickleball. Griffin is a town smaller than Peachtree City, yet they have more than 20 public access pickleball courts. Every day, some Peachtree City residents load up their cars, brave the 5474 intersection, and head to Noonan to play pickleball. Noonan is roughly the size of Peachtree City, and they have more than 20 public access courts also. 18 public access courts at Mead Field would be a good start for a community the size of Peachtree City. It would allow Peachtree City residents to stay in the area, load up their golf carts instead of their cars, go play pickleball, and then maybe enjoy lunch in Peachtree City instead of Noonan or Griffin. While I'm up here, I'd like to thank staff for their hard work getting this proposal together. I also want to thank you, Mayor and Council, for looking at all sides of this issue. I know it's multifaceted. I would be remiss, however, not to at least mention noise. I know that you are sensitive to the issue, and I am confident that over the last 3 years, we've learned enough about noise to place these courts appropriately and mitigate the situation. Let's build the 18 public access courts that Peachtree City community deserves. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, please.
Sue Reed.
Good morning. My name is Sue Reed, and I live in the Glenlock Division of Peachtree City. I'm here this morning to thank you all for all the work that you've done in the past. I've been here many meetings and talked with most of you. I decided to bring a few friends today, and they too wish to thank you, but they're also here mostly to express their concern by all of us wearing our 18 sticker. We need to have 18 courts, please, instead of the 12 that might be considered. It's just kind of, I feel like it's a waste of our time and efforts that we've put in if we only do get 12. So I thank you in advance for your vote today, that you will vote for 18 courts and not 12, and maybe even surprise us with 24.
Thank you. Next, please.
Michelle Barr.
They gotta learn how to quit.
Good morning, City Council and Madam Mayor. I could say ditto, 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 because I'm also with the pickleball crew. And my name's Michelle Barr, and I've been living here at Roxbury Ridge for about 25 years. The important part is public pickleball courts, because so many people can't afford memberships, yearly memberships, monthly memberships. And we are a community that stands for doing good things for the community. And we have a large group of pickleball players, and like you say, it's the largest sport that has grown so much in the last 4 or 5 years. I know you'll be making the decision of, like I say, this is kind of ditto, is 18 public courts or 12. And I did the research and sent you the information is about what are the requirements for some of these tournaments. And the minimum is 16 courts. and plus. So we need, 18 makes sense if you want more revenue in Peachtree City for restaurants, hotels, shops, taxes. There's things that will go up that will help our community. And so you need it from these tournaments will be helpful. And that's about it. Like I say, ditto, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Next, please.
The final speaker is Dan Fink.
Mayor, Council, good morning. I'm Dan Fink. I've been living here in Peachtree City for 40 years now. Proof that I'm an old guy. I like the clock because I'm going to go extemporaneous. Everything I was going to say has already been said. Obviously, I'm an 18 guy, so I'm looking forward to seeing 18 courts as well as all of us are. I had a small administrative role when I first started playing about 3.5 years ago when we do tournaments, et cetera. And we started off with our club being 74 people. Popularity has obviously grown throughout the United States, and we're at about 754 now, and that's just over 3 years. So obviously it's a growing sport that's not going to go away. 18 courts would really accommodate all of us, not maybe if we all showed up at once, but we would really appreciate that. Comparisons, obviously, Noonan and Griffin, I've gone to both to play. Beautiful courts, great models, great shading, and wonderful places to play. So I'd like to see some of that duplicated. We all would, and we'd appreciate that. 30 years in the Navy. I'm an old guy there, too. Appreciate the spread this morning, sir. I know that in my last 15 years, a lot of people, problems, and projects, that's cats hurting, right? So I appreciate the consensus. It's always difficult to get consensus of opinion. This is a great forum. Mayor, thank you very much.
Thank you. Is that our last speaker?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Agenda changes. Council, I would like to suggest, I'm very intuitive, and I think we have a lot of pickleball people here this morning, and a lot of them are standing.
How you doing?
I would like to suggest that we move item F under work session. Oh, gosh, I forgot quarterly reports. We're going to go to quarterly reports first. Sorry about that.
Agenda changes, we're still there.
Oh, excuse me, agenda changes. Council, I would like to suggest that we move item F to the top of the list under work session discussion items. How would you feel about that?
Yep, no problem, move it up.
Okay, do we need a motion, Mr. Meeker? Can I get a
Madam
motion,
Mayor,
please?
I'll make a motion that we move item F under work session discussions to item A. Is it on?
Yeah, can I
Okay.
get a second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Now we'll do quarterly reports, 2025. Second quarter reports. I just want to tell everyone here that every quarter, all of our departments do a summation. It's very valuable information for all of us. It's posted on our website. We heard from one of the fire interns about our push-in ceremony. So, for example, not only do we have word of a $1.5 million new fire engine getting washed down and pushed into service, but on the same page from Fire and Rescue, we had the rescue of a baby bird. We have every aspect of our operations is in our quarterly reports. It's very valuable to council. Do you have any questions or comments?
No, you go ahead.
I'll go ahead. When I went through the planning department stuff, I found a few issues. I brought them to Justin's attention. We're working on amending some of the data, how it's reported, to make it more clear. There was one part of the statistics that was not there this time that had been in prior reports. But how the permits are, like what percentage of the permits meet our time frame deadline to be approved within 5 days for residential or 10 days for commercial, was kind of like confusing. And in looking at that, Justin's gonna work on having that amended for, future reports.
It's in this one now, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is it updated? I didn't pull up an updated one.
It says met now.
Okay. Yeah, it sounded like a very bad statistic when you looked at it the other way, the way you could easily interpret it. It sounded like a lot of the permits were not being approved within the time frame necessary. But anyway, The other thing that I had noticed that I had brought to Justin's attention, that hopefully it is corrected in this one, but I did notice in reviewing, comparing the quarter 2 to the quarter 1, some of the print, when it's in the yellow or gold color, there were some statistics in the first quarter 1 that I noticed were very difficult to read because the yellow letters and the numbers and stuff were not filled in the centers, and it wasn't as readable. So I talked to him about that. Hopefully that's all squared away. Other than that, I did ask for, and I was glad that they notated that the carcasses of animals that get picked up on the streets included this quarter 1 alligator. So, which we all had the memorial for Floyd, but anyway, we did put Floyd in our quarterly report.
All right.
That's it.
Anything else on quarterly reports?
I do.
Mr. Holland?
Okay. This is in regards to the police action. Chief and Assistant Chief, you may want to comment on this, but I went through their analysis of things that I don't like to see in the city, which is crime. Now, we report on it. Do we make sure that we're doing the right things? And I want to at least let the citizens know that first half of the year of this year versus first half of the year last year. How well did our police department do? And it's a good metric to see how they handled crime in this city. And I'm pleased to report, and make sure the citizens hear this, I see up to a 25% reduction in crimes in this city. That's a year over year. If you study the statistics, and I love statistics, so you study this stuff, you see that they're doing a good job. So a shout out to you, Assistant Chief, and all of the department for what job well done in 25. Now, we still got 6 more months, but the first 6 months compared to the last 6 months of the previous year, 25% decrease in crime. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, that's all I had.
Ms. Johnson?
I don't really have anything, but thank you to all the departments for preparing. These are always very insightful. Some of the things that I was going to point out was also Floyd and the alligator, things that you never think you're going to experience being here on council. So, but thank you for all of the information. I appreciate it.
All right. Next item, work session discussion items. We'll start with F, pickleball Mead site update. Chris Hobby.
I feel like all eyes are on me.
Yeah, they are.
I'm just happy to talk about something other than wildlife. Since I got here, I've done deer and raccoons and fox and
But we like that.
Alligators.
Yeah, alligators.
Beavers.
So it's fun to talk about something different. As you all know, the Recreation Advisory Group a couple of months ago made a recommendation that we proceed with the Mead site for pickleball. And so we started doing work there, and it quickly became obvious that the compost site was economically and logistically impossible. And so we kind of shifted our focus, and we started looking at other sites. And we looked at other sites at Mead, we looked at Riley, and what we discovered was the most straightforward, the most economical path was still at Mead, and it was in utilizing adult softball fields. We could still maintain the distance that we need. The optimum distance from pickleball to residential is about 300 to 500 feet, depending on whether you have anything that will absorb sound. We can get 500 feet, which is the maximum, the absolute best that you can. We can get that at Mead. So we started working. We really asked Angela Egan to step out of her comfort zone and work with us on doing a design build RFP. And that was a new experience, something that had not been done. And Angela really stepped up to the plate and just did an outstanding job. One thing I have noted in my almost 9 months here now is that the staff in Peachtree City is the best I have ever worked with in my 29-year public service career. And Angela Egan is a great example of that. So we did do the RFP, we got it out. We received 3 proposals back. And of those 3 proposals, and I brought the wrong sheet with me, so I'll use the right sheet. Of those 3 proposals, we have narrowed it down now to Target Sports. We did ask them, as was our instruction, to look at both a 12-court and an 18-court design. This is a design-build project, so at this point, they are giving us proposals on what it will cost to do design and manage the project. We do not have construction costs yet. That will come out of the design process. We control the design process. So as we go forward, if the budget's getting too big, we can adjust, and we can make adjustments to that. This morning, we do have Scott George, who is the Vice President of Design Build with Target Sports, with us by video. And our phone, he is, okay.
I think he's on there.
So we are going to turn it over to Mr. George.
Tell me his name again.
Scott George.
Thank you.
And he is going to walk us through the process, explain a little bit about their capabilities, and answer any questions that you have. And then I'll come back and we'll wrap this up.
Thank you.
All right. Well, good morning, Madam Mayor, City Council. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you this morning about your pickleball complex. Again, Scott George, Target Sports Construction. We are a national sports construction company. Some of our brands that you may know would be Field Turf, Fine and Tracks, but then also Classic Court, which is what our pickleball court design is. So I'm going to try to get this presentation being shared here as it's flipping around, and hopefully you start seeing my. All right, do you all see my slideshow now?
Not yet.
Not yet? You're just looking at my ugly mug. Okay. Well, then let's do this. I'm going to end it, and I'm just going to share the individual slides. That way you all can see what I'm talking about here. I apologize for this. Let me get right over to here. And we're going to share. All right.
Okay.
All right, so you can see the slide now. Again, sorry it's not in the full slide presentation, but for some reason my PowerPoint doesn't want to work with WebEx. So anyway, so Target Sports, we do master planning, architecture. We also do consulting, but construction, manufacturing, all things. Sorry here, I'm trying to get this screen right. And I do apologize for not being there in person this morning.
That's okay.
Yeah, but anyway, engineering, construction, post-tension concrete, which is going to be a very important piece that we're going to talk about here shortly, specifically to your project. But courts, tracks, anyway, this is all we do is sports construction. My role specifically within Target is to do design build projects. So, cities like yours, they come and say, hey, we would love to do a project, but we'd like to go through it through a design build approach and be able to have that ongoing dialogue and really drill down into the budget and figure out how to maximize our value for the tax dollars that are being spent. That's what I do. And so we work with folks all the time on things like this. We do have a collaborative design process, which we like to integrate your team, parks, the park staff, your rec folks, maintenance folks, citizen groups, everybody that you would like to be involved in the design process. We love bringing them in and getting their information and really getting their input. And it's really that 360 input from your stakeholders that allows us to get you to the best fit for your community. One thing that we will do, and I think it's not necessarily unique, but the way we approach it is unique, is we are going to give you costs. We're going to show you representations of, okay, here's what an 18 cord is, final construction, here's what 12 is, here's different amenities within inside of it that we can click on and off, and really give you all the information so you can actually make those decisions yourself. We're going to give you the info, we're going to lend our expertise and guide you along the way, but ultimately you have the power to make the decisions of how exactly everything lays out and how you like it. Again, we are construction, so we're design and construction. We have in-house architects, in-house engineers, and then we also are a full scope construction company. What this allows us to do is be able to, one, drive the schedule. We're not waiting on subs. We're not waiting on our suppliers because, again, we're buying things in bulk and being able to drive that value back into your projects. We have an integrated project management. So early on, as we go down this design build process, the site supervisor, the project manager, our estimator, they're all going to be at the table discussing the designs with everyone. So then that way, when the project does get started, it's not like they're starting from scratch and having to figure out, all right, what was the intent of this? Who is the right person to get a hold of in this? You're going to have that connection from design all the way through the end of the project. So, post-tension concrete. And I'll get into the whole makeup of it here in a second, but one of our things that we are most proud of is we've been doing post-tension concrete courts and tracks for decades. Through that experience and trials and error, and where we are, Target as a whole is a huge research and development arm that's just always trying to develop bigger and better things. What this has allowed us to do is we actually, with our courts, we provide a 50-year warranty on our structures. So that post-tension concrete, that is your court, for the next 50 years, you're not going to have to worry about it getting big cracks and that are expanding and separations, things of that nature. We cover that construction piece and warranty it as such. What we also do is we have a warranty on our surface. There's a process that we do that actually helps with the adhesion of our acrylic surfacing, and so now you're also going to have a 10-year warranty on your surface as well. So what that means is for the next 10 years, other than having staff go out and power wash the courts, probably on an annual basis, that should be it from a cost standpoint, because we're going to cover the product. So a little bit into the post-tension concrete. This is the actual makeup of what you will see. Starting here at the bottom in this dark area, hopefully you can see my pointer there. That's just compacted subgrade. Georgia soils do have some expansive clays in them, and we'll compact that. But the nice thing about post-tension is it combats soils that expand and contract over seasons. So we'll compact that, then we'll come in with a fine aggregate, and we're going to laser grade that aggregate across your entire courts so that it is spot on perfect. One of the keys to our post-tension system is with that laser grading, we can ensure that this concrete, which will be 5 inches thick, that cable is dead center in all of that concrete. That is one of the main reasons why we do the laser grading of the subgrade to make sure that everything is perfect. Then we'll come in with 2 layers of vapor barrier. There's a 6 mil and a 20 mil vapor barrier there. The 20 mil is actually welded together. So it's like putting a pool liner in upside down. Instead of keeping the water in above the liner, we're keeping it down below it, which keeps moisture from coming up through your actual court and further protects the slab. Then we move on and we set our cables. So these post-tension cables are the real strength of the product. They actually are compressing the concrete for the life of the slab. And what that does is keeps it from cracking, separating, getting, settling, all of that. So it's one big floating concrete slab. It's like building a parking garage, but on the ground. So it'll as the soils move, it can move. But ultimately, everything's being held together with that. Then we come in and we pour our concrete slab. We use laser guided screeds. So again, your surface is perfect. We do everything to ASBA standards, which in turn actually pick up USA Pickleball and things of that to make sure that everything is within standards for your community. Our next step would be our diamond coating, which is our primer. That is the adhesive primer coat that's actually going to allow us to get you that 10-year warranty. And then we top it off with an acrylic surfacing system and our colors of your choice. So we have standard colors that we can provide. And then we also have, you've got, a special color that you would like, we can get it mixed up too. And all part of that design build process of, all right, give and take. If you want logos, it's this much. If you want a special color, it's this much. But ultimately, we all sit down, discuss it, and figure out what is the top of your importance, and you work our way down and try to get everything into the budget that you have. So, as part of the project or part of the process, we had to submit a couple of designs. This is very high level, throwing courts on this location because we were missing the biggest piece of the design team, and that is you all. So we kind of designed this in a vacuum, but generally speaking, these are things that we should be able to do on your site. This is the 18-court layout that you're seeing here. Very generic as far as, everything's running north and south. We have walkways in between the courts so you can access it. And then we also make sure that we have gate access in between courts so you're never walking across the court to get your ball or to get onto your court. We do have some stormwater detention laid out on there as well. Again, this is very high level. As we get into the process, this plan can change, turn around, shift to the left, shift to the right, whatever makes sense, the best sense for the community. We were trying to stay away from houses on the east, but then also there's houses on the west that have not been reflected in here. So this whole layout can shift east and west without a problem. A 12-court layout, again, similar scenario, just a smaller footprint, and again, we can move it around. And we've done 9 courts, we've done 4 courts. We've actually done what would be the equivalent of 104 pickleball courts, but they're actually tennis courts. But if you can imagine 26 tennis courts on one property, it was quite the undertaking. So we'd love to get you 24 as one of the citizens that asked for, but on this particular side, I think you'd be hard pressed. But we're here to work with all of that with you. Now, as far as a schedule for this, and again, this is just picked tomorrow as the start of it. Obviously, we'll see how everything progresses with this. But ideally, we have user group and design workshop here in a couple weeks, and then we just move on and we start doing our schematic design progress check, which is actually, how is everything laying out? Are you guys satisfied with the general parameters of it? Then we'll dive into finalizing that, and we'll have a high-level schematic design estimate. We'll submit all of that for city planning staff to look at and to begin their review. If everybody's on board with that, then we just keep drilling down a little bit deeper. So we start fully developing the design, getting the lighting layouts, everything dimensioned, back over to you all, and updating the estimate again. And we just keep working our way through construction documents to then basically, all right, everybody's on board, we've got final approval, let's start construction. In a perfect world, if we hit all these dates, we would try to be on site at the end of October to start grading. About 3 weeks for the court construction. The lighting portion of it would come into play and overlap that as well. Once the courts are poured, we do have to let them sit for 28 days to cure before we put any surfacing on it. So that that sports lighting and fencing and things like that, they work around that. And so it's not just a total dead time of 28 days, but that all comes into play. So then we come in, weather permitting, if we have favorable conditions, which I know in January maybe hit and miss to be in the 50s, but we come in, we surface it, we do a punch list, and everybody's out there playing. So, like I said, we do these courts all the time. Point Mallard, which is an indoor complex, which is down in Decatur, Alabama, which is a few hours from you all. This is that large tennis court project we did. And then we've got some city parks. And this is an actual phased project in Murray, Kentucky. We're starting with 5, we're building 5 more as soon as they finish their fundraising, and then everything will come together. I can dive more into our construction and communication process, or to be mindful of your time, we can open it up for questions. Madam Mayor, however you'd like me to proceed.
Thank you. Mr. George, can you hear me? Thank you.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. I do have one question on the timeline, which for everybody here, it's on page 46 in the City Council packet. Construction documents, plans to owner, plans to the city planning for review. Maybe we could work together with staff on the dates of our council meetings and upcoming planning commission meetings so that we can keep that rolling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and on that kickoff meeting, I'd like to, one of the topics of that kickoff meeting will be taking this schedule and making it work within council meetings. So
Yes.
in that way, we're not falling off weeks or whatever they may be.
Thank you. Council, any questions? We won't do a deep dive. We have it all in the packet. Council, any questions?
Go ahead, Susanna. Otherwise, I'll go.
You go, because my questions are not for him.
Okay, first of all, thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate you coming by via the beautiful way of doing things in Zoom. So my question, more of a business question. I saw your program that you gave us and read it over, and I see a lot of beautiful courts. I see a lot of good work. I like your timelines. All of those look good. What I didn't see in any of this documentation, has you done this kind of work for cities in the past? It seems like you've done a lot of private stuff. Have you done work with the cities for building these types of pickleball courts?
Yes, Councilman, let me pull back up this slide. Point Mallard Indoor Pickleball, that's with the Parks Department down in Decatur, Alabama.
Okay.
Pleasant Hill Parks and Rec, that's with the Parks Department. Murray Pickleball was with the City of Murray.
Okay.
This was actually a public school, but I would say the majority of our work is on the public side, whether it be
Okay.
city parks or school K-12s or even colleges.
Okay, thank you on that. Let's hop over to the construction side.
Yes.
You know, I'm an engineer, so I look at this stuff very carefully. I can see that you've got a lot of your timelines for the construction portion of this through what would be called a Georgia winter time. And
Yes.
that's always going to be a challenge doing concrete when the weather's jumping all over the place. And particularly when I heard 28 days of setting time, who knows what's going to happen. Have you had experience in handling this type of thing where you're doing wintertime, Georgia wintertime type construction, and still being relatively on time with your construction estimates?
Yes. So what I will say is a large portion of our work and one of our biggest markets is in Indiana, which again, cold weather, fluctuations, probably more extreme on the cold side. And we actually are able to work all throughout the winter there. Now, a couple of things that are important to us is one, getting that site grading done and getting the vapor barrier down to where we know we're dry. That is number one. We're gonna use a pumper truck for our pours, so we're not gonna, as long as we can get within reach of it, we can pour it. We're also used to having to cover our concrete for those cold nights when that happens. But as far as getting through Georgia winter, we're actually excited about it because your average lows are much better than what we're used to dealing with. And so we're definitely looking forward to that. But to your point, rains, if there is a fluke deal where there is a hard freeze down there, then yes, it would adjust that schedule accordingly. And that's something that as we move into contract documents and things like that, we'll want to address it with you all, because ultimately we cannot prevent the weather from being what the weather is. But I will tell you, we are pros at working around it to meet our schedules. And knock on wood, which I don't have any real wood in my office. I think it's all particle board, but we have never been
Made
hit
of wood.
with. We have never been hit with liquidated damages on a project. So.
Well, I appreciate that because that's kind of important to make sure we do deliver in a reasonable amount of time, and construction schedules are always in flux.
Yes, sir.
The first thing I'd like to say is that I'm glad that you're at the 500-foot level from the court design as I saw it laid out to people's homes. That's critical to not have that. We've had a lot of issues in the past with noise coming from these pickleball courts. So we want to make sure we mitigate that as much as we can. I'm going to hop over to warranty. I heard you say 10-year warranty, but you didn't say 10-year warranty on only just one of the components of this. Did I hear that correctly, or is it across the whole board of a 10-year warranty of parts and labor and whatever else for the entire structure, or is it just for parts of the structure?
So the 50-year warranty, 50, is the actual concrete slab itself, the post-tension slab. The 10-year warranty is the surfacing warranty, so the actual acrylic surface that is on top of the courts, the playing surface that the citizens would be playing on. Our fencing that's around it is usually your standard 1-year warranty, but it's typically do a black vinyl coated fence, no big issues there. Lighting, depending on where we finalize the lighting package is at, we can get you anywhere from a 10-year to a 20-year warranty on the lighting side of it. So really the only thing that doesn't extend past, or the only thing that's below the 10 years would be your fencing. Everything else we would.
And your surface too, that's 10-year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed also, switching gears again, I noticed there is great access in and out, no problem with that. I think that's great. Fencing is great, looks good. The way you've got it located looks good. What I didn't see is, where's the seating? Is there anything in the design on that, or is that something that's going to come as a potential secondary construction?
Really, as we dive into the design of it, that'll be a discussion that, do we want small, like a single bench at each court? Do we want an actual set of bleachers to where now we're having like a championship court, things of that nature? Again, all of the missing pieces that we'll dive into as we really get on board and start having these discussions with the community to figure out what exactly we want. But yes, we've done them with championship courts. We've done them with just bleachers sitting in between them, or at least a bench in between them. And it's really that's the nice thing about our process is we'll give you all those options and figure out what works best for the budget and go from there. And it may be one of those things that maybe we're supplying a pad for it, and maybe Peachtree has bleachers somewhere else that they're not using anymore, and they can be repurposed over there. I will tell you, in my past life, I was a parks director as well as an assistant city manager, so I understand how to being creative to get the citizens the great amenities that they want is critical, especially when you're talking about a tight budget. So we will go through all of those things and figure out how to really maximize those dollars.
Okay.
Thank you very much for answering those questions, particularly on the technical side. I do appreciate that.
I want to say, I was going to save this one for later, but I appreciate your points, Mr. George. And of course, we have a lot of pickleballers here, and they have input to share. In my mind, Council, that's what our Recreation Advisory Group is for, so they can synthesize that input. Probably we will want to see one championship court. Our bleachers could be 3-tier or 5-tier or a bench. And I think that's going to be part of the process. That's what I like about design build. So I think that's a really good point to make. And we do have things we're going to like. It's like furnishing your house. There are certain things we're going to want to have. So any other questions, Council?
Yeah, I came up with one as a result of Clint asking his questions. Is the surface of the courts going to be raised higher than the surrounding ground, or is it going to be pretty much flush with the surrounding ground?
So your soils, your grass, things of that nature outside of the actual courts, outside of the fence, they will be slightly below that way water's not
goes off.
Up onto it. But we'll sheet. We do make sure that our courts, as we place them north to south, we will sheet the water east to west, one direction or the other, because we don't want slope north to south just from a playability standpoint. But yeah, we'll slope everything away so water's not sitting on it, and then we'll also make sure that water's not entering the courts from the outside either.
Okay.
I do have one more question.
Okay, Ms. Johnson?
Yeah, I just have one. I understand that the resurfacing, the warranty for that is 10 years. Do you recommend resurfacing at that point, at that 10-year point, or do your court surfaces typically last longer than that?
What we recommend is that at 10 years we do a deep dive into it and see how things are holding up. What we prefer to do is at that 10-year mark put at least a new acrylic surface on top of it, for a simple fact that your colors will fade over those 10 years, and you're going to want it to freshen up. It's a lower cost. I'd almost say it's almost like repainting a car that's had a faded paint job. If you recoat it, you're going to continue to extend that life. If you don't, then we're running into options of failure otherwise. So, and that's that 10-year mark is going to be critical, and we'll talk through. Okay, this is the recommendation that we need to do to make sure that we're keeping our warranties intact, and go from there. But I would highly recommend at any point or on any court at 10 years to get that resurface done.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question, Mr. Holland?
Yes, I do. I saw in your drawings there that you had I don't know if it was a retention pond or a detention pond on that drawing. Is that purposeful to put it in, or are you going to just let the water run off, or how are you going to handle water? Because we do get an awful lot of rain here in Georgia.
Yes, so that was a detention pond.
Okay.
That would take the water and then meter it out. so we didn't have water leaving the site any faster than what it is now. And we're doing that to meet your stormwater requirements. But ideally, that would be a dry pond, grass bottom, that can be mowed. But during the wet season, yes, that will probably have water in it. Again, we threw it on there as a placeholder. We know that's going to have to happen. The other option, and this is a reality as well, but again, it will drive budget. And being mindful of your budget, we started off with the detention pond, but we can do an underground system. That's a chamber system that basically water comes in and then slowly leaves. To me, that's a great option, but it is more expensive than just putting in a detention pond. So, but we can talk through all those options and see what makes sense for the community.
And I'll ask my last question, then I'll shut up. And that question is, on your warranty, is it a pro rata warranty or is it a complete warranty for the 10 years, including all labor and materials?
Correct. It's complete 10-year labor and materials. If something happens, we're coming out and fixing it.
Okay.
If something happens to the court, we're going to come out and fix it.
Good.
And it's actually it has an insurance policy with it as well, so it's backed. Tarkett Group, which is the overall arching Tarkett company that has Tarkett Sports. They've been around for 140 years. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. But still, and we do the same thing with our turf projects. We have an insurance policy that just says, hey, regardless, you're covered. So.
Thank you. I think I'm done, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Chris Hobby, anything else? Let's wrap this up.
The beauty of design build is that we will control the process, so we will control the budget as we move forward. In the RFP, we gave placeholder numbers. We gave $1 million placeholder for 12 courts and $1.3 million placeholder for 18. That's what the pricing that they gave us is based on. That can go up and down based on what we finally settle on design. We plan to take this back to RAG starting on Monday, and begin getting their input. If y'all vote for us or if y'all authorize us to move forward, and that will be our next steps. Tarkett gave us an estimate of $198,310 for the 12-court design build. This is their cost only. It doesn't include the cost of the actual construction. And then $214,243.81 for 18 courts. That's just their fee. And so, of course, as we get into design and we choose to have bleachers or shade structures or more water fountains, whatever we decide to do, that can drive budget up and down.
Thank you. Council, any last questions for Chris Hobby? Do you have any questions for Chris?
Yeah, I have a quick question. In this spot that we've located to do this project, if there is more growth for pickleball courts, if that's desired in the future, is there space there where we will still be within that 500-foot range?
It does get tight after 18. Scott, you want to comment on that a little? If we have room for additional?
On that specific site itself, I mean, we really start diving into, the houses, or I shouldn't say necessarily diving into them, but you start getting closer and closer to them on that particular softball site. If we do underground storage, we could add probably another 4 to it, 4 to 5, maybe 6. But then you're going to be within about, right now, I would say you'd probably be a little under that 400-foot mark at that point. But what we can do as we moving forward into this, we can master plan the entire area that is available, and then focus in on the actual phase 1, if you want to call it, to kind of help with that, if that is something you guys would like to look at.
Yeah, but we really felt like 18 was about what we were going to get at this
Okay.
site.
Yeah, it's pretty.
All right, any other questions for Chris?
No, I have comments, not to hold Mr. George from Target.
Are any other questions for Chris or Mr. George? No, okay. Thank you. I don't know, are you going to stick around?
I may for a little bit, just to
right.
listen. I'm
Glad to have you.
I'll get my local government fix that I haven't
right,
had in
all
a
right.
while. So thanks.
Be prepared.
All right, comments, Ms. Brown?
Okay, my first all right, obviously the dispute 12 versus 18. And let's skip over that. One of the prior things that we had talked about, and it was a hot topic a couple of weeks or months ago, was doing additional courts at Riley Field. And in looking at that and conversations I've had with Justin and some other stuff, Justin was able to find out from the school what exactly is on the corner of the school adjacent to Riley Field and its classrooms, which means we pretty much at this point have to rule out any kind of a build for pickleball at Riley Field. And correct me if I'm wrong on that, because we looked at the measurements and it was just not gonna work with the 500-foot target. And we cannot really subject classrooms full of elementary school children to the noise of pickleball and all of the cursing involved with the pickleball players. Which is just not acceptable in elementary school world. So that kind of took Riley Field off the table for us. We had received kind of a little advance kind of notice from one of our citizens that the citizens who live in Gates Entry were going to show up today and speak against pickleball at this location. Because they too are concerned with the sound. That being said, they didn't show up. Now I want you to understand, all of you very vocal pickleballers, you may have intimidated them out of coming and speaking. Now, you may have. I don't know for sure. But I think you need to realize that that's still a concern. And that being said, I spoke with Justin just before the meeting started. As I was driving in here this morning, what I thought was we may have to get maybe our one citizen, John Riley, who's the most affected by the current noise situation, and a couple of other pickleball players to help us do a sound test at this location, in that we put people listening over near the houses in Gates Entry, and we put pickleball players where the courts would be, and we have you bat the balls around or whatever, and just make sure, because one of the things that came out that John Riley had pointed out many, many months ago is that the sound from the pickleball will move down a hill. It doesn't necessarily move as easily up a hill, but it moves down a hill very easily. And so I think if we're going to proceed with this, before we spend this enormous amount of money, if we approve this today, we should do it contingent upon that we do a sound test. And I think that that's just to protect all the money that we're going to spend on this.
Any other comments?
So, no, I'd like to know if everybody else would kind of agree. I mean, this is an enormous amount of money that we're going to put on the line, and if we build it and it turns out to be a sound issue for that neighborhood, then we have actually achieved nothing. So, for our citizens. So,
all right, if I may, I'll address that right off the bat. To do a contingency suggests that depending on the results of the sound test, we might not choose this location, and I don't think that's the case.
I think it might end up being 12 versus 18. That's the thing.
If I may, we have located a great location. The guidelines are 400 to 500 feet. We've exceeded 500 feet, and in addition to that, we have a sound buffer in the form of a grove of trees, and on the other side of the grove of trees is a street in the gates with no yards on the pickleball side of that street. The houses are on the other side of that street in the gates, and their front yards are on that street, which means anybody hanging out, doing a barbecue would be in their backyards. Now we've added another 50 to 100 feet. So in my book, we're here. We have considered the sound issues all along, and that's how we ended up at Meade Fields, and I am not interested in entertaining an idea of a contingency. No. I mean, it's a good point. It is a good point to make, and we are very aware of the sound issue. That's valid. But my point is that we did take that into serious consideration in identifying this location. So, any thoughts on whether or not you want to have a contingency sound test? Mr. Holland?
No.
Ms. Johnson?
I feel comfortable with what we have right here.
I am going to cut to the chase. I think what we're looking at is a motion to approve the award of these design build services. I'm excited that we've taken this method because it means that we have a say in the design as we go forward. And I know our pickleball players have expertise in this. They've visited other communities in other states, and they know what they would like to see, and we have the opportunity in the future to reconcile that with our budget. So I would suggest that we move forward with the 18 courts, design build services to Tarquette Sports. Does anyone want to debate that issue? All right, can I get a motion?
I can do that. Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the award design build for pickleball courts in the amount of $214,243.81 to Tarquette Sports for 18 courts minimum.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We have a lot.
Are we gonna lose our audience?
Excuse me. We have a lot to do. We're going to take a 5-minute break. 5 minutes. A, list of vehicles and/or equipment for surplus. Jonathan Miller.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. So our ordinance requires council approval for any assets we sell over $5,000. So we have compiled a list of vehicles from vehicles and equipment, various departments, PD, fire, public works, other departments that we are looking to take to auction. Some of them are seizures, some of them are vehicles that have met our thresholds of where we hang on to them. So this is just something that we'll be asking, it'll be in the consent agenda item. To carry them to auction, we use Gov Deals, and that's pretty much the gist of it, unless there's any questions.
Thanks very much. Questions, Council?
I will have some, but let the ladies go first.
I'll go first then.
Okay.
I probably singularly drove Justin absolutely crazy in the last couple of days talking about the vehicles and the rotation of the vehicles out. My concern being that vehicles are very expensive. So as we move vehicles out of our fleet, obviously there's needs for replacement for some of them, and my concern was vehicles that are being built now last a lot longer than vehicles from the past, and I expressed, some concern. Were we absolutely certain that every one of these vehicles really needed to be, removed? And I brought up, the Bobcat, and that I went on one website and they're selling Bobcats, literally for $30,000, and I'm thinking, why are we getting rid of this?
Right.
And so Justin gave me a very detailed
Yes, I'm aware of the list you.
2-page list that you prepared.
Yep.
That explained everything, that really kind of answered all the questions that I had and doubts about it. Justin also pointed out that when I did my tour of the city facilities, when I came on board with Laura, I never got over to Public Works. So I'm gonna remedy that in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
So be prepared. Because I really wanna kind of like get a better feel for what's going on over there.
Absolutely.
And everybody who's, making these decisions and recommendations, because having read this, I feel far more comfortable with, what was just on the list, not knowing the details of any of this stuff. So, and I don't know moving forward if, the list is something that should just come forward with the items, like to council staff in advance saying, here's the notes that we have and why we need to offload these vehicles, but, that would be helpful, because when you're functioning from this side of the dais and you don't know any of these details, it's really hard. And I'm trying to be as conscientious as I can with how much we spend on vehicles, and they are a big part of our fleet, and there's a lot of money involved.
Yep.
And rotating a vehicle out before its usefulness is kind of like done.
And we don't preemptively sell it. So we do this same detail comes when we deliver the CIP for every request that we have. So maybe we just compile that where we're gonna have it set aside to go when they sell as well. But every time we do the CIP and we request a replacement, that same detail, that same level of detail is provided in those sheets and justifications.
Okay. That's good. So I'm good with it now, so.
Any other questions on this item?
Yep, I do. May I go? I appreciate what you've done, because I read that stuff that Justin sent to us, and it really did give us a better understanding that, oh my gosh, we're selling all these F-250s. Well, now I got a better understanding of it. What I do have is a suggestion, though, that we may want to consider as a council here and also at Public Works. Suggestion is we have, let's say, affiliated portions of Peachtree City in both Wausau and the airport. They may be able to use some of these, and instead of selling them at auction, discuss it with those two entities and say, look, we've got some 250s. Maybe you can use it on site at the airport. It doesn't have to be registered and everything, where you can move things from hangar A to hangar B and use it as a truck that can be used locally there.
That would probably be a question for purchasing, because I know the reason we do auction is we have to do it that way.
Correct. I understand that, you have to follow that, but I think in the case of maybe doing an arm's length transaction with our other parts of our city to help them out, particularly when I saw the Bobcat, and I know that the issues with the Bobcat, I read it, but you know, maybe they're willing to put in the time and effort and money, because boy, we can use that for a few $1,000s. We can have a Bobcat down at Wassa to do some things that we need. I just wanted to put it out as a suggestion, and maybe something that maybe the council can think about as an alternate to get rid of them, not only to go through the auction, but also look at our affiliated parts of our city that maybe they can use them additionally.
Bobcat may be hard pressed. If we have a decent Bobcat that's going out, fire department usually yanks it up real quick. So.
Okay, any questions?
That was
Any
just
other-
my point.
Any other questions for Jonathan? All right, thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Work session discussion item B, Huddleston dual left construction bid. Dave Borkowski.
Yes, good morning, Mayor and Council. This item is just a heads-up item that we put that project out to bid, and we received bids, 3 bids on it, ranging from $181,000 roughly to $595,000, and we're evaluating those bids right now, the experience, the references, and speaking with the low bidder to make sure they understand the scope and everything. And our plan is to bring this back next council meeting for a recommendation.
All right, questions, council?
Yeah, I have one for you, Dave. I was there for the bid opening, so I heard all the different prices and stuff, and there was big discrepancies between this bid that you're suggesting we go with versus the others. We're looking at double and triple the amount. Have they been fully vetted to make sure they're going to get done what they said they're going to do in the RFP?
Yes, we actually had a long discussion with the apparent low bidder yesterday on that. We told them, you know, what the other bidders were saying as far as some of the prices and everything, and they actually pulled out their quote for the pole and everything, and told us that they got a quote for the pole for $35,000, not $230,000.
Okay.
So we ran through that. We talked to them about the big discrepancies in the bid, and they pointed out that they actually have a big job going on Sonoya Road, so they have a lay-down yard close by, and they don't have to travel. There's not a lot of travel time. Their signal guys are close by. I think they live in Riverdale, I think they said. And then the big thing is that they do the majority of the work themselves. They're not subbing out.
Okay.
The only thing they're planning on subbing out is the concrete and the striping. So what they were telling me made sense. So and plus two, we had an engineering estimate done early on this for about $200,000. So we're in the ballpark, I think.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation.
Any other questions, comments?
If you remember financially too, this is in your memo, but a majority of this, especially if this price, if this low bid is good, majority of this is going to be paid for by the Fayette County Development Authority through a grant we received last year. And GDOT is also covering a portion of it too from where they missed their initial review on some things. And then we'll cover the rest. But if this price holds, it's mainly going to be paid for by that grant.
Right.
The grant is up to $121,000.
Yeah, 121.
Up to 50% up to. So.
Oh, 50%. Okay, so they'll do 50 up to. Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Nope.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Work session discussion.
Do we need anything on that one, Madam Mayor?
No.
Do we need to make
No.
any decisions
No.
on it? It'll just come back automatically?
Right.
Good, okay.
We got our questions out of the way today. That
Yep.
means it can go on consent when it comes up
Got
next
it.
time. Work session discussion item C, proposed fence ordinance text amendment. Shayla Reed.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. The item before you is more so asking for direction for staff. There is we're missing some language inside of our fence ordinance as we're looking to ensure that the fence ordinance for residential is consistent. There are 2 areas that we would like to ask for your permission to move forward with a amendment to the ordinance to include LUR and LUC, which is limited use residential and limited use commercial. So we're asking for clarity as well as direction on this item.
All right, I see staff is recommending this amendment as shown in our packet, and it adds LUR and LUC. I'm fine with that. Anybody else?
No, I think we need to move it along as soon as we possibly can.
Agreed.
Exactly, move it as fast as you can.
Ms. Johnson, anything?
I just want to, the ones who have built fences in these areas that we thought maybe were issues, and they're not because they weren't breaking any ordinances, they're still fine, right? We can't make an ordinance and then hold them responsible. It's like their grandfather, right, okay. Right, yes, okay,
That's why speed is of the essence.
right.
All right. Any other questions on that item?
No.
No. Work session discussion item D, proposed sign ordinance text amendment. Shayla Reed.
Yes, ma'am. This is the same request that we're asking for clarity and direction as to whether there should be a potential amendment to the ordinance. Here we're asking, and we'll go into a little bit more detail with the presentation. So the sign ordinances gives an idea as to how we would move forward with an application once brought to staff. So one of the first steps that we take during that process is, of course, identifying what the anything that the code mentions on definitions, anything that's listed as permitted versus prohibited. And you'll see here that anything in red is basically what the code says, and they're kind of talking to each other, and it works very well with roof signs, where it's identifying how anything above or upon a roof structure is prohibited. So that helps. However, when you get to the green section for 6615, the challenge is that once it's upon a parapet, it's allowed to have a sign. So as you know, a parapet is basically an extended wall for a roof. It basically serves as a border of a roof, which means it's above the roof line. So traditionally, we would think that a roof sign is this, but technically for our code, it allows for that to be a roof sign as well. So staff is asking for clarity to see which direction would you like to go, and if you would like for the code to be a little bit more consistent to allow for the conflicts that we're seeing with these, sorry, going in the wrong direction. There we go. If you would like for the codes to be a little more consistent to allow for whether it to be 100% roof signs being restricted or being allowed, but with the exception of a parapet being allowed as a roof sign. So we're asking for clarity. We're asking to possibly take this to your planning commission for recommendations to come back to you if it allows to move forward as a text amendment, and then bring it back to you for a final decision.
So I'm sure we would all agree we would want to take the text amendment, whatever it may be, to the planning commission, yes? So are you asking us to spell out exactly what you want us to decide?
Yes, ma'am. Just as you did before, just to tell us if you would like for it to be a text amendment. And if so, we'll move forward taking it to the planning commission.
If we want to have a text amendment.
Yes, ma'am.
If we want to make the change that's being discussed.
All right, I do.
Can I just ask a nice question? It's not a bad question. I understand that a roof one is one that's on top of the roof. It's basically on the angle or on the apex. Correct, there's your picture. But the other one that you have listed as a roof side is really on the parapet, and that's this picture. And are you asking us to, if I read that, and please, I'm being silly about understanding, you're saying you'd want us to approve that style that you're showing here and not approve the other one?
We're not asking for that. We're asking for you to tell us which do you want us to do. Do you want for us to approve one or the other? Because your text currently right now, it tells me that anything that is above a roof is identified as a roof sign. However, a parapet is above the roof sign.
That's right.
The roof line, I'm sorry. But what happens with that is because it's above the roof line, we're now required to allow for this sign to be placed because the definitions in the code says it. So here is 6615, the underlined portion. Building signs shall extend above the eave line or top of the parapet on the wall. Again, a parapet is above your roof. That is again stating a roof sign.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead. I got other things to
Within the building codes, is there any specific limit on how high a parapet can be above the roof surface?
We do not spell that out in the code to say how tall the parapet could be, no.
Okay, because as I look at this issue, from the ground, not from the roof or the air, but from the ground, you look at the side of the building, the facade, and you don't know that there's a parapet there. So there's a space back there where there's a roof that's lower than the top of the side of the building. I look at that as being the side of the building, but I can also see where if we're not careful as we kind of construct the wording with this to define how high that parapet could be, that we would allow them, next thing you know, we're gonna have people building 6 or 8 foot high parapets, you know, just in order to have a bigger sign on the top or more visible. So I kind of am looking at this like, well, gee, it doesn't look like it's any kind of a problem, but it could be. So I'd be interested to know, because I did not look for that until just now as we're talking, what height limit there is with parapets, or if there's no limit, would that have to also be kind of like looked at the same time?
That's such a good point, yeah.
Because the next thing you know, we're gonna have, and any signage on the side of the building would still have to conform with how many square feet we have.
That's right.
But, and we have height limitations on the total height of a building within the city.
Right.
So that would,
But the parapet is different though. It doesn't have that, just to state the parapet can only be so high. It has a minimum more so because the idea is to allow for whoever's on the roof not to fall off. So that's the whole purpose of the parapet. But it doesn't give a max. It gives a minimum, but not a max. So what we can do is, if you're interested in that, I can find that number and compare it, because there's currently a situation in the city where there's a parapet that is a 3-sided parapet on purpose, I believe, for the portion of it being a roof sign.
Is that at West Park Walk?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, okay. I would be prepared to run this by the planning commission.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
know
I
it has to go
totally
to,
agree.
but I think what Shayla was looking for is some sort of like a recommendation from us as far as which way we're kind of sort of leaning on this, but
I don't have an opinion on
yeah,
that.
I think the planning commission could do a good job with this
Well,
at this
I
point.
would-
But I think pointing out all of these issues with the parapet, the requirements, the site, whatever.
I think,
And then we need to make sure every ordinance that pertains to all of this is all in alignment.
I jumped to the international code, and it actually has a minimum height on parapets of 30 inches. And then there's some sort of multiplier with roof slopes about how tall it can be. I'll read, do you want me to read it to you? Is
Not
it-
really.
No,
Not
not
really.
necessarily.
Thanks, Ted.
it's almost
We'll-
lunchtime.
I was hoping you would say that.
We'll trust you at this point.
Honestly, I don't have an opinion
we-
on this one way or the other. That wouldn't be what the planning commission wants.
Right, and then maybe Ted, if you could just make sure that that Shayla has that and it all goes to the planning commission as part of their notes and whatever to make sure everything's in, that would be perfectly fine.
Is that reasonable, Mr. Holland, Ms.
Yep,
Johnson?
I just have
Yes.
one
Okay.
comment at the end here when you're
Yeah,
all
okay.
set.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't like roof signs. To me, that's a very urbanized type of situation. We're not an urban community, we're a suburban community. Roof signs, to me, are like the flashing neon sign, eat here kind of stuff. I don't particularly like that for our city, so I don't know if that is something that you can have the people in the planning commission take a more careful eye on that, because I don't think that's what we want as an image for our city.
Well, they're
And I
current-
don't know if anyone
they're-
else agrees with
They're
that.
currently prohibited.
Yeah, I know,
don't think
and I
that they're
want to
gonna
keep it
open
that way,
up.
but there's what's a roof sign and what's not a roof sign? And that's really what I'm hearing, that confusion that you've got. We'll make it very clear. On top of the building, no roof signs. You got that in section 66-5.
Right.
But then you got to clean up all the other stuff.
Yes, sir.
That's my opinion. I'll let the planning commission, as the mayor said, let's let them take a close look at this and see what they come back with.
I'm
Is that
good
okay?
with that. Everybody?
Okay, good.
Are you clear, Justin?
Well, can we have a motion to refer it to the planning commission?
So moved.
Yep. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Work session discussion item E, Building Department Services RFP.
Yes, ma'am. So we are currently inside of a contract with a service for building inspections and plan review. We also have erosion and sediment control plan review and inspections as well. And within that contract, it ends on September 30th. And so, so that we were ensuring that we were within the right rates and ensuring that we're on top of current trends, we opened the RFP again back in May and reviewed proposals in July. We had about 5 companies to provide proposals to us. We've gone through the process and looked at where those individuals could meet the requirements within the RFP. And we're wanting to inform you that we'll like to bring back to you at your next meeting a recommendation for those services for the upcoming October 1st date of start.
All right, thank you. Council, any questions?
I have a comment to make. Typically, plan reviews and construction and checking those things for code enforcements and those kind of things is one type of knowledge that they have. But when you flip that over to erosion control, you've got apples and kumquats. They're totally different. The skill sets of both of those. Let's make sure that the people who have the erosion control have at least the Georgia Blue card or red card.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm a holder of that for erosion control. Okay. So I think that we ought to make sure that there's a separation and understanding between inspection and erosion control.
Understood.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on to new agenda item A, 82501, Fire Station 83. Chris, why don't you start by sharing which one is 83?
Parkway,
South.
Just south
South.
across
South
town.
Parkway.
Okay.
Yep.
yeah, so that's where it is. This was a,
It's the one on the
planned
parade route.
item, budgeted item that, we were going to renovate this fire station. Renovations include gutting the kitchen, the bathrooms, just an upgrade. Again, we decided that the best path forward for this project would be design build, and that we would work with a preferred vendor on getting the design build, and so we did. We have worked with Frontier Design Build, a local company, and they have given us a price to do the most of the work. Now, this doesn't include cabinetry and some other finishes, but their price is $97,900, well below the $220,000 budget that we had for this project. So we are asking that you authorize us to proceed with Frontier Design Build, so we can get this work done with the goal of having everything finished by September 30th. So we can get Chief Murphy's guys back in their home.
Okay. Questions?
I'll make an editorial comment. This update is sorely needed. We have fire and EMS staff living there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And when I toured there in the beginning of my time on council, I saw the need right up front for this renovation. And the accommodations that we've had to make to, what I'd like to know is, what accommodations are we making to take care of the fire and EMS staff, during the time frame? Is that something we should talk about now? How long is this really gonna take? And how far are they gonna be put out?
So during the day while they're working, we've redeployed them throughout the city. And then when at night, the other side where the bunk rooms and all of that kind of stuff is not being involved. So they have no place to cook or sit or anything like that. Their office is displaced. So that's what we've done. We redeployed them, and then at night, we put them back over there. So that's kind of how we're working through this, is we didn't tear up everything, just one half of it. This is going to take care of the office space, the kitchen, what we call the day room area. We're just going to put in a new bathroom back into it, and they're going to clean up all the wiring, all the things that when you build something and you have 30 years of not doing a whole lot to it, it just needed a kind of cleanup of the wiring, all of that stuff. So that's what we're doing with it.
And we plan to be back in there October 1st.
Good.
Yeah. The biggest thing
turnaround.
from,
That's good.
and Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, the biggest thing we've found from the contractor side is if the cabinets can be built fast enough. We put those got those bid first, or actually done first, so we knew we could meet the timeline. So that's our goal, is to be back in as soon as possible.
You can blame me. I set a very quick timeline for them. It was me.
Good.
And that's why design build work best for this.
Yeah.
I have a question.
We're looking for a motion on this today?
Can I ask a question before you go?
I'd like to make that motion.
Can you just?
Go ahead.
Okay. I see that you're doing most of the fire station at 83.
Yes, sir.
But I noticed the absent of your discussion was the living quarters. Is that going to be a follow-on to fix those living quarters up at 83?
More than likely.
I would think so. I've been there, so
So-
I've seen what it's like.
So-
And
so-
that's the next step for
Okay,
sure.
Okay, so I'll say that we Justin and I have walked through every one of them.
Okay.
And we looked at prioritizing kitchens, day rooms, and then the sleeping quarters and
Right.
everything. Because we're trying to spend the money efficiently and do we prioritize each one of those. We prioritize the day rooms, and then we prioritize the sleeping quarters. So yeah, I don't think it's next. I think 82 is probably, but we're also going to replace 82. So that's the other thing we have in SPLOST. We're thinking about all of those variables in it. But yes, we did look at that too. It is actually newer than the side that we're on. So.
Yeah, I've been there, I've seen it, I know what that's like, and I was hoping maybe when you've got a $97,000 cost on this, if we got enough money left over to be able to fix the other side. That's where my mind was going.
I completely agree.
All right, can I get a motion?
I'd like to make the motion for agenda item 082501, Fire Station 83 renovation with Frontier Design Build in the amount of $97,900.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. New agenda item 82502, addition of 2 full-time positions, building permit technician and planning and zoning technician. Justin?
Yeah, so this is an item to piggyback. So what Shayla was just talking about with the building department services RFP that we put out. Currently, under our current contract, our current contractor provides the 2 front desk people downstairs, the downstairs of City Hall. We have had issues. I'm not going to get into details of it, but we've had issues with how that's arranged, and we've done some research on this before we put the RFP out. So we are making the recommendation that we bring those positions in-house. We have the budget to do it. We don't need a budget amendment. It's going to be net neutral to the city, because what we're paying the contractor to provide these positions, we can basically do the exact same thing and have them in-house. And the biggest reason, I think I gave a couple reasons why we want to do this, but the biggest reason is so we can have, since it is net neutral, no budget amendment is needed, we want to have control of these positions and have them follow our expectations, follow our uncompromised excellence and the things that we expect of these positions, and we think they can be a little bit more efficient with us managing them as well. So the recommendation today, we do want approval today, just because if this RFP is approved at the next meeting, it'll take effect October 1. Our current contract ends September 30th with the current contractor. So we just want approval today because we want to go ahead and start getting these positions advertised if it is approved, so we can fill them by October 1.
All right. All I need today is a motion to approve.
Approve the positions. Yeah, the recommendation's there in the memo of what the motion
I can
could
do
be.
it. I move that we approve new agenda item 082502, approve the addition of a building permit technician position and a planning and zoning technician position within the protective inspections department.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any last questions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Justin, I think you actually, did you steal my notes here and read my notes? I know we've talked about
You
this,
took your
but-
notes from me.
Yeah, no. But I do want to go on record as making a clarification, because adding 2 city staff sounds like something we don't want to do. But we're already paying these staff indirectly through a contract. So the issue is, do we give the money to a contractor and then they hire these two people and they pay them, or do we pay them directly ourselves? And when I talked to Justin about the fact that the numbers work out to about a $2,000 difference, you know, it just seems like having control over these staff members, who we pick, who we choose, and giving them direction is really worth that extra $2,000. Because these are the two people who are doing the first line customer service as people walk in the door to the building department. And that's a big thing. And so I definitely support this, but I do want to make sure, you know, our citizens understand this is not just adding 2 staff. It's adding 2 staff instead of 2 contract staff. So it's the same.
All right.
It's just,
I have a motion
Yeah.
and a second. All
Exactly.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. New agenda item 82503, fiscal year 25 budget amendment and acceptance of recreation program donations.
Good morning. I have some budget amendments for your approval this morning. We received several donations in support of our recreation program and some memorial bench installations, and we're asking council to accept these donations and the corresponding budget amendments. I'm going to go through them very quickly. We had $500 was donated by Fourth Corner Boxing and Fitness Gym to sponsor the Back to School Bash, which will take place this Saturday, August 9th at Glenlock Recreation Center. We had $500 donated by Pace Lynch in support of the Home Run Derby, which was held on July 14th at Drake Field. We had $1,577.49 was donated by Robert Seaman for memorial bench to be installed at Rock Spray Pond, and $2,367.56 was donated by Cindy Farr for a memorial bench to be installed at Lake Peachtree. We're grateful to these individuals and organizations for these donations, and we're asking council to accept these donations and the corresponding amendments.
Thank you, Dustin. Can I get a motion?
sure, I'll make a motion that we approve agenda item 0825-03, fiscal year 25 budget amendment and acceptance of recreation program donations as listed.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. New agenda item 82504, hearing 1117 Hip Pocket Road Dock Entitlement Appeal. Ted Meeker.
You've been waiting a long
Your
time for
turn.
this, Ted.
I have been, and Suzanne, it's funny. I've spoken with Laura, Kim, and Clint this week about this agenda item. So I'm gonna share some of what I've told them. I really tried to word my memo in such a way that this came through, but, you know, occasionally lawyers write like lawyers and you can't decipher and have a conversion to English dictionary handy. This all started sometime last fall with the information that was submitted by Mr. Strickland with respect to the dock permit. At the time, Robin and I did a deep dive onto this issue, looked through the documents, and while I agree wholeheartedly that the property owner would have access rights and lake usage rights, I did not see in the documents where they were entitled to a dock. Robin also did some work, and I think Shayla has followed that up, in terms of the number of docks that are out there. I know Justin sent out an overhead of it. And from what we can tell, there are 7 docks on the city's property. And in fact, I think the only lot that doesn't have a dock is the one that's at issue this morning. I tried to make clear, we're not taking a position for or against the permit. At the end of the day, this is city property, and I didn't feel like it was staff's right to say okay to putting something on city property. That's a council decision, which was why the permit was denied. Ultimately, I believe I told Mr. Strickland then that there were appeal rights that they had under our code to bring it forward, and that's why it's coming forward to you today. The other thing I will say, I'm going to think about the most eloquent way I can put this. The residents on Lake Peachtree on the west side are very protective of their area. So I also think it was good from a transparency standpoint for this matter to come forward to an agenda item, and for the other lake owners and the association to actually weigh in and give some input on this. I can tell you that if a dock suddenly sprung up and they had not known about what was going on, Well, I know city sold some property over on Lake Peachtree, on that side of Lake Peachtree a couple of years ago, and while it was advertised and everything, I know that some people were surprised. So to that extent, yet again, I feel like it was a good thing for this to all be thrown out there, and now I'll let Mr. Strickland make the case. I don't want to appear as though I'm arguing on his behalf.
Thank you. Mr. Strickland, would you like to take the podium and share some information? Welcome.
I would, Mayor, and thank you council, for giving me the opportunity to address y'all today.
Pull that microphone right down. There you go.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now you can hear.
Okay, great. So I'm a longtime resident of Peachtree City. Been here since 1975. Live in Honeysuckle Ridge off of Kedron Drive now. From 75 to 80, I actually grew up off of Hip Pocket Road, and so I'm familiar with this area. And it's got a great history, and the property that we're looking at now is one of the earliest parts of Peachtree City. It's neat to see that Chip Connor actually lived in that house for a while too. So it's got a rich history. I am here today because I had the property under contract last year with Mr. Nelson to buy it. And I wanted to go through a thorough due diligence process to really understand what are the lake entitlements, the dock entitlements of that area, that house, knowing that it's got a very unique history. And so I went through and engaged the city, and Ted provided the ruling. In his opinion, that it did not specifically have dock rights, has lake entitlement rights. But this is a really old area of Peachtree City, and there's some things that are really quite unique to this. As we look at it, the lots in question actually were deeded a common area along the lake that is significant property directly from the Equitable, directly to the homeowners that some of which still have that property, and the Nelsons being one of those groups. And so, as I talked to the neighbors and we were going through this, it was a surprise to all of them that this was not something that was in place. Everybody that's in this area, these affected 8 lots, just assume that they have, clear dock rights. And 7 out of the 8 lots have built docks in this area, in this common area of the property. Justin, is it possible to show that slide that I had sent that had the previous one? It shows I was going to build up to the docks, but then there's one that shows the actual amount.
I took some aerials and numbered them.
Okay.
So I believe
the survey that showed where that common area is.
Well, it showed. So go back to the other picture.
Sure.
Another one. Yep. Zoom in. Yeah. Right.
There you go. So
Right there.
you can see where essentially the plat lines are for each of the lots. And in the survey, it's in the packet that I sent, it's actually got a survey that shows in green where that common area is. And that's, my understanding, owned directly by these 8 lots. And it's a shared ownership. And lots can have, or up to this date, it's allowed, the city has allowed docks to go in that common area to serve these 8 lots. And 7 out of the 8 lot owners have built docks. And the Nelsons, who've been in their house for over 50 years, are the 1 out of 8 that never built a dock. And so as I was going through the due diligence process, asking for clarity from the city, and then to have the ruling from Ted, which was, this is ambiguous. It does not clearly state it, but there's some unique things that are going on. I really felt like I had done the Nelsons a bit of a disservice, because up to this point, everybody had assumed that this was something that could have had a dock. And maybe if the normal process of going through and asking for forgiveness rather than permission had been followed, which in the packet I shared with you, there's some folks in the past that just said, hey, I'm building it, and we own this property. Had we done it differently, maybe the Nelsons might have been the beneficiary of something different. I'm afraid that I've done them the disservice by going through this, and it's greatly affecting the value of their house and their lot. And as we go through and we look at this, I've talked with the Lake Peachtree Association, Tom Polton, and he has reviewed with their group and their board, and they're in support of this dock. I've talked with the surrounding neighbors, and each one of the ones that I've been able to reach have said they're very much in support of this dock. And I've shared one of the letters with the group today, so you should have that. So again, as I wrap this up, this is a really unique situation. The 8 lots owned that common area, came from the Equitable. That came in 1980, a year before actually the Equitable sold the actual lake to Peachtree City. So this goes way back, and there's some really unique deed entitlements there. The 6 interior lots all have access directly to the lake via a perpetual easement. So it was intended for these interior lots to have enjoy lake rights. And it didn't specifically say docks, but nor did it exclude that. There's no other situation like this that I'm aware of, along the lake. So as you guys are considering this, you're not setting a precedent that other people are going to be able to come in and say, hey, I want this dock too. This is really just about the Nelsons and their one lot that's a part of this unique situation where they didn't, 15 years ago or before that, go before the city and say, hey, I want a dock, at a time when it would have been approved. And so now we're here at a later date, and they're getting a different ruling. And so as we look at that, there's a lot of legalese, and I gave you the whole packet that shows that. You're really boiling down to what's fair. What's fair is a real subjective topic. And as I look at this, it's almost like in a baseball game. You got the umpire that's looking and saying, this pitch is good or it's wide, call it however you like. But what is fair is consistency. If you're calling it wide, call it wide for everybody. If you're calling it low, call it low for everybody. What is really unfortunate in the current situation, and you guys have the chance to rectify it, is to say, this is the one group that's being treated differently at a point that they've been here for a long time, and it would make a big difference for them and the value of their home to be treated the same. So I hope that you guys will really take that under consideration and rectify it. This will not benefit me. I do not have this house under contract at this point. It is going to only benefit or harm the Nelsons. And so hopefully you guys can take that under advisement and be consistent. So I'm happy to answer more questions. I got a lot of information that I know about the area now, and welcome questions, but I know Mr. Nelson's here and would like to address the group as well.
All right, Mr. Nelson? Good morning.
Good morning to you and Mayor and council persons. Thank you for this time. I think when I need to hire a lawyer or spokesperson, I'm going to hire Mr. Strickland. Thank you for this time. We purchased this property 57 years ago, 1968. I am a retired Methodist preacher. I was at Tyrone, Mr. Forrest's pastor, one of the movers and the shakers of the city. I saw it when it was starting. They couldn't hardly give land away down here. Nobody wanted to come. There was this guardhouse that Chip Connor had built to watch over the lodge. There was vandalism down there. He had a dog, and Chip lived there. And finally, he moved up to better facilities, and this house was sort of left, and a sort of a evolutionary process, never really finished. And I found out that it was for sale, and I really represent today my wife. She is the property owner officially. She has dementia. She's been She's had dementia for about 6 years. I'm her caretaker. We've been married 64 years. Both of us are 86 years old. And we're going to have to make some other living arrangements for our lives. And we need to sell this place. And we found out that in selling the place that we needed to get this straightened out with the dock because it affects the value of the house, the property. And of course, we would like, nobody wants to pay what we would like to have for the property if it doesn't have dock permit. And you could understand that. So that's why we're here. And I'm kind of embarrassed that we're taking up your time like this. But appreciate your consideration for where we are. And it's a tough time in our lives in that we voted here, we paid our taxes these 57 years. We love it. We've seen the whole process go. There wasn't a house within 3/4 of a mile from where we lived. That's why we liked it. We lived in places that Methodist Church sent us, and we always came back here and called us home, came on the weekends, holidays, and when we could get away. And our children grew up here as a vacation getaway yard place. And it, to be honest with you, it saved my ministry, it saved our marriage, it saved our family. We've had so many good times here in this little place that we call home. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Council, the letter that we just received today on the dais from a neighbor is in support. The Nelsons have approached this process thoughtfully and respectfully. It's clear they're committed to being responsible stewards of both their property and the shared lakeside environment. I don't doubt that. In my review of all these legal documents, which is why I'm not a lawyer, it seems that 7 out of 8 of these properties used these documents as reason why they could build a dock, and I would foresee the 8th one could certainly be built as well. Thoughts?
And Madam Mayor, can I just cut to the chase on this and
Sure.
make a motion?
Are you ready, or do you want to just?
No, I want to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to tell Mr. Nelson, I'm probably the only person sitting on this dais that has actually walked down your driveway during door knocking and left pamphlets and stuff for you at your house. So I know exactly where your house is. And I'm sure what I'm about to say is the same as what Councilman Holland is saying and what the mayor is saying, which is basically, I'm reassured we're not setting a precedent here for a whole flood of other things, and I think we need to make this right.
Thank you. Anybody else? I'll have Ted Meeker make the motion for us.
Please.
I don't know, does Clint want it?
Well, I was going to make
say-
it.
No, let
Go
Ted
ahead.
make it.
I was going to make it, but go ahead. You're better at that than I am.
I don't know, it's gonna be pretty simple. I make a motion that you approve the issuance of a dock permit for this lot.
Can I second that?
You say so moved.
I know, I was just messing with him. So moved.
I have a motion. Oh, can I get a second?
He seconded it.
Second.
I don't get to make.
He made the motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
I didn't know I get to make motions. Huh?
No.
Well, let's phrase it.
No.
You've done it before for us for legal things.
All right. Public hearings.
Nope.
Thank you.
Two
We
other
have-
items.
2 more items.
We're sorry you had to sit here for so long.
Remember I told you that one was,
Hand me the stack of agendas.
Oh. Do you want?
I can get it
the
for
whole
you.
stack?
Do we still have it? No,
Dave,
so
do you
give
have-
us
Dave,
copies. It's changed. and-
Does he have?
Oh,
a map?
I got it. I got
I
it.
have a
All
map
right.
for the Northeast Collector.
My bad. I have it. Thank you very much. New agenda item 82505, removal of Northeast Collector from Transportation Plan. Ted Meeker.
Mayor, this issue has come up. This is another one of those every 5 or 6 year items, but the Northeast Collector, I think Mr. Borkowski is pulling it up. My apologies for not having a map ready to show you where it's going, where it was anticipated to go. but it is on the northern end of the town. It was gonna be a point of connection up to, what's the name of it? It's not Dogwood, what's the road it was gonna connect to?
Astoria Lane.
It was gonna be Sims
Astoria
Road
Lane
up
and
to
up through Sims
Dogwood.
Road.
And it's been on the city's transportation plan for a long period of time. In fact, it's on the last transportation plan that was approved by a city council, which I believe, David, when was the last plan? 2010. There's been no real movement to move forward with this plan or this road at any point in time. It would eventually connect from Peachtree City into unincorporated Fayette County. The plan, as it was last approved, on the county side of it now has houses in between where the road would go ultimately. And why it's relevant is there's currently a development that's coming forward for approval, plan approval, Mr. Bradshaw's property in Chadwick Homes. And in going through the review, of course, staff had to take into account that it's still on the books as the northeast collector, and therefore that road needs to be built to a much different standard than a normal residential street would. Well, that has impacts in terms of lot sizes, setbacks, and everything else. The most recent discussion about this would have been somewhere around 2018 or 19. When was it that internally staff did not think that this matter was moving forward, so there's been no real discussion about it. The most recent transportation plan that came forward to the council, I believe, was in 2019, and council took no action on that plan. There were some portions of it that they did not like, so the council just never voted to approve it. Long story made short, this is a road that I don't think is ever going to go forward, given where now the connection's even more challenged in unincorporated Fayette County than when it was envisioned 20, 30, 40 years ago. And so, again, this is not something, city staff can't ignore what's in our plan. So the way to resolve it is to perhaps have council to take a vote to remove this road from our current transportation plan so that they can move forward with the review of the proposed development and, of course, any other impacts. Right now, it would provide, I think, Dave, you told me this, it would provide another access point to Kedron Hills, so you might have some increase in traffic through that. There's another subdivision, David, that it would impact. Can you remind me which one that was?
This is Astoria Lane here, part of Kedron Hills, and then it would come down through here and connect to Sumner Road.
Okay. So in any event, that is what we're asking council to do, is to remove the northeast collector from the current city transportation plan.
Thank you. Questions? I'm fine with it. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the removal of item number 082505, removal of the northeast collector from the transportation plan.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 82506, 123 interlocking stormwater pipelining.
Yes, on this item, I needed to point out first for the typo and recommendation. Part of this presentation, it says pipes at Marywood Lane, and it should say at 123 interlocking.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have.
There was a typo in the recommendation statement. It should say 123 Interlochen instead of Marywood Lane. Computer glitch. I had a serious admonishment with my computer this morning on that, so. So basically, this emergency popped up in the last couple weeks on this item. We currently have a storm drain that runs down adjacent to 123 Interlochen that parallels the path that runs between these two homes. And currently, this pipe was on our future lining list, but recently, there was some utility work in the area that basically caused us to bump this up to kind of an emergency project. There was some boring of a utility line that ran adjacent to, basically parallel to this pipe and under our cart path, that from what we can tell on our investigation, intercepted some voids underneath the pipe that were there from previously that we had identified. It intercepted those voids and basically created a preferential pathway for stormwater to run through this underground trench, and it pops out of the ground down the hill next to our cart path, which caused issues with the cart path when they were trying to repave it. So we investigated that, determined all this, and we feel that since it's so close to the house, probably within 10 feet of the foundation of the house, that we really needed to bump this lining up with concrete and get it lined so we can immediately stop the erosion from getting worse. And then we'll address doing GPR and whatnot in this area to determine how far the voids have gone and see what we need to do to fix that. And right now, the cart path is closed because of that issue as well. So we really wanted to get this lined right away. We requested 3 quotes, and the low quote was from Utility Asset Management for $58,500. And we currently have sufficient funds in our pipelining account and stormwater to do this. So.
Okay,
Were there
council,
any
can I get a
questions?
motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve agenda item 0825-06 for 123 interlochen stormwater pipelining contract to be awarded to Utility Asset Management for the quoted price of $58,500.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Public hearings. 82507, new alcohol license, Trader Joe's. And I gotta say, I think this is the first official notice I've had.
On
With
this
the
day,
name
for us.
Trader Joe's.
For us.
The planning commission had
Yep.
them.
Yes.
So Mayor, with that, before I read the protocol, I just want to say, that's what I thought all the people were here for, the Trader Joe's alcohol. What happened?
Look what they missed.
You would think.
Right. So for non-zoning matters, the protocol is as follows. When the public hearing is open, members of the council will become hearers. No part is in order until the mayor declares the hearing complete. First, city staff will present the item. The mayor will then allow a total of 10 minutes for members of the public to comment. No individual members of the public will be given more than 5 minutes to speak. Time limits may only be extended by a majority vote of council. Prior to closing the public hearing, city staff and the public will be given the opportunity to ask questions. When the mayor is assured that input is complete, the public hearing shall be ended, and council may then debate the issue and render a decision. All speakers from the public are asked to follow these rules. First, please wait to be recognized by the mayor. 2, come to the microphone and state your name and neighborhood prior to making remarks. 3, keep individual remarks under 5 minutes, and please do not repeat others' comments. And 4, address all comments to the mayor. Thank you. So this item, as you stated, Mayor, is for the alcohol license for Trader Joe's. They are going to be located at 258 City Circle, and based on the application that has been submitted, and Mr. Nader, which is going to be appointed as the licensee, and Mr. Reginald Jones, which will be appointed as the license rep, if this license is approved, has met all of the requirements.
Thank you very much. With that, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Council, can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor,
Madam Mayor. Go ahead, Suzanne, you can do this one.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve agenda item 082507, new alcohol license for Trader Joe's located at 258 City Circle.
Second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. New alcohol license, Absalon Management, Kedron Hills, LLC.
That's correct. This item is actually DBA as Residence Inn. This is the new hotel that will be opening up at 400 World Drive. Mr. Patel has requested to be appointed as a licensee and license rep, and all requirements have been met to issue a license for this location.
Thank you. With that, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Council, can I get a motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Make a motion that we approve 082508. Is that correct?
Yes.
08? Okay. New alcohol license, Epsilon Management, Kedron Hills, LLC, 400 World Drive.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 82509, Swiss Digital Concepts.
Yes. Mayor and Council, the applicant in this situation is just a slightly little different. I am going to state that this business actually has been operating in the city for the last 3 years. We did notate that this business was operating without an alcohol license. They did have an occupational tax, and through a new process that we have established, we require for any massage regulatory fee or anyone performing massage services or anyone performing or selling alcohol to do a different process, which allowed us to realize that this business did not actually have an alcohol license. So I say all that to say we are working with the state because they also did not have a state alcohol license. They are doing everything to come into compliance, and we are working on attempting to find a solution for some excise tax that we have identified that has not been paid over the last 3 years. However, as of this point, this individual is going to be opening up a wine wholesaler business or continuing wine wholesaling off of 200 Kelly Drive. Mr. Nagati Hindi has met all of the requirements and has requested to be appointed as licensee and license rep, and the location does meet all requirements to be issued a license at this time.
Okay. With that, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Sir, take the microphone.
Mrs. Mayor and the council,
Good
morning. Good afternoon now. My name is Altai Nagati. I'm the owner of Swiss Digital Concept. And I just wanted to let you know is that when I paid the occupancy taxes, it was never mentioned to me that I needed to have an alcohol license for my business. So it's when I paid for the third time, that's when they told me you need a license, and this is where we are today. The business is actually, I import Swiss wine, and I'm the only person in the United States doing that. So Georgia is the only state who actually can have a Swiss wine at present time. And so I only wholesale to restaurants, liquor stores, or supermarket, or any establishment who has a retail alcohol license. And so I'm certified by the ATF, called the TTB, for importing the alcohol on the guideline to the FDA. And Fayetteville, Fayette County is my wholesale license.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor? Hearing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. I'm glad we're going to make it right.
Yep.
Council, can I get a motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve 082509 new alcohol license, Swiss Digital Concepts on 200 Kelly Drive.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. I want to thank you for coming and staying the whole
Long day.
long day for that one.
Now you know what we go
Thank
through.
you very much.
All right, council staff topics, just real quick, I want to mention today is Food Truck Thursday until what, 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock. This morning we had a wonderful Purple Heart ceremony and flag raising, and I always thank Frank DeStadio for bringing Purple Heart to Peachtree City. I appreciate him, especially on this day. Our post office, U.S. Postal Service, we haven't been able to get that cleaned up on the exterior in 3.5 years, but lo and behold, I received an email, maybe you guys did too, inviting us to dedication for McCloskey for that building. And with that, I encourage the post office officials to come to Peachtree City and look at what the place looked like. We met there last week, and yesterday, here were the trucks. They're trimming, weeding, cleaning up the post office. I am so happy. They're going to bring in high-pressure washers. They're getting it all cleaned up in anticipation, I think, of next week getting a blue mail drop box put in. So we will monitor that situation. That's very positive, and it was a long time coming.
Sadly needed.
Yeah, thank you. Madam
Very
Mayor, for
sadly
that.
needed.
Very sadly
That definitely
needed.
is a
So,
good thing.
next thing I want to mention is we are in the middle of a process to put a school resource officer in every one of our elementary schools. I appreciate our partnership between Justin and our police department and our Fayette County Board of Education. So our goal is to have, instead of, now we all love Officer Smiley, he was the SRO at Huddleston Elementary School when my son was there. Now my son is 30. So Officer Smiley's been around a minute, and everybody loves him, but he's been roving to all the elementary schools. And now we will have him at Braylon or Oak Grove.
He's at Oak Grove.
He's been at Oak Grove.
Yeah, good.
And we'll have resource officers in all of our elementary schools. I couldn't be more
Hallelujah.
excited about that. Our back-to-school bash is Saturday afternoon from 4 to 7 at Glenlaw. And that is all I have. Mr. Holland?
Yeah, first of all, I want to, again, shout out to the vets for today's Purple Heart. I hope that people enjoyed that, and thank the city for the little bit of refreshments you gave all of the vets after the affair and event we had at the flagpole. So that's number one. Number two, I think hearing Mr. Forrestal talk about the hockey, I would look at this council and is this something we can put on the agenda next time to give them a conditional approval before they get their 501c, and give them a conditional approval so they can get started with these children to start doing that travel hockey here from Peachtree City. And I think we, and Ted, is that the right way to lay that out? Is
Well,
we
you
need to
can-
get it on the next agenda?
You can lay it out, but historically, and we had this come up last year because there was a change in the swimming program. And we waited until they got the 501c. Our precedent has been, because that's where our policy reads in terms of them having that status before we can enter into an agreement with them. So in terms of a conditional status, that's not something we have done in the past. And as most recently with the swimming program and the changes to that program, we made them wait until they actually had their 501c status before we entered into an agreement.
An add-on question to that, though. Is there any idea how long it normally takes to get that?
No. I've heard, I think his thought in terms of, Harold, you correct me if I'm wrong, he thought he would have something by November. But I have found in times I've assisted nonprofits that it's normally a 6 to 8 month turnaround. I don't think that the staffing levels at the IRS right now are even what they were a couple of years ago. So I don't know that that's gonna make it quicker or slower. I have no idea. But I know that it's normally been, in my experience, a 6 to 8 month process.
And given the fact that these kids are not going to be able to have the activity that they want, I would hope that the council may consider do something different that we have not done before, which is give a conditional approval for the next so many months. I assume you'd set it up with a time amount, Ted?
No, again, we will do whatever council wants to do on it, but I just, like I said, it would be something we haven't done previously.
I mean, there's a
Well-
process in place for a reason. Why is it that we need them to get their 501c3 before we can let them do what? Form an association, or is that what we're talking about? I don't know anything
We've
about
always
that.
required the associations to have the 501c
Right.
status before we would sign what we call, I believe, a facility use agreement, which allows them. So whether you're Little League or basketball, hockey, and so forth, all of our associations are required to have the nonprofit status. The idea being that, you hate to put it this way, but the organizations aren't for-profit businesses that we're allowing to use our fields for their various leagues.
I'd say, Mr. Allen, respectfully, I think this is something we require of all of our associations over the years, and there's a process, and I think the process works, and we'll cheer them on as they get their 501c3.
Can
Yeah,
I
they're
offer
just gonna lose a whole season is really what it
I
is, you
understand
know?
that.
They're gonna lose a season for these kids, and we're losing them to places around the area. They're going to Noonan and Fayetteville and other places instead of playing here in Peachtree City. And
Sounds
I-
familiar, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and that's
Can I-
why,
can I
and that's
ask a-
why we're hoping we've got an open mind to giving them a conditional acceptance on this, or approval, I should say.
Can I ask one other question, though? Because it was my understanding that what they're asking for from the city is like, that they have access for like 1 3-hour session on a Sunday or
Sundays,
whatever,
right.
which is a very minor thing. I don't know what the swim team or whatever would have been looking for, but I mean, 1 3-hour session on a Sunday seems like a relatively minor time frame to block off and let them have access to prior to getting their 501c. I mean, it just seems like
But
such
whether
a
it's
minor
3
thing.
hours or 30 hours, you know, our requirements are the
Yeah.
same. We require,
I
you know,
understand that.
insurance, and there's a whole process here. Go ahead. Bill.
Yes, currently the way that we are set up for rentals of our facilities, the city ordinance does not allow recurring rentals to non-association groups. That way, the teams that we have associations with, plus the citizens of our city, can also use our athletic fields and our facilities recreationally. So that we're not constantly bombarded, that we can schedule maintenance when we need to. So that's why we have that ordinance set up.
Well, and if you remember, the mayor, you probably remember this, maybe my first or second year we started, we had people interested in using some of our softball, baseball fields, and they were a for-profit company.
Oh, yeah, right.
And they wanted it regularly.
Right,
And we told them no.
right.
Like, you can do it every now and then, but you cannot have it every week. You have to have an agreement with us, and you have to be a
You
nonprofit.
can't advertise your schedule, practices, and things like that. We've really towed the line on that.
I have a dumb question. It is one practice a week. Why couldn't they coordinate something with our existing organization for having some sort of a practice on Sundays from, because that's what he's talking about doing, if I heard his comment correctly.
Correct.
Why
Correct, but-
couldn't the league
Under their
coordinate,
lease.
I mean, under their existing thing? In other words, why form a second association? Could this league not provide some sort, I mean, it's a 2 to 3 hour practice slot on a Sunday. Couldn't, they clearly could do it. It's just this second association that's being created.
So it'll be coordination between the two organizations, because
Our
one is
current
Peachtree
organization, yeah.
Hockey, and the other
Yeah.
one is Fayette Hockey Club. They're two different organizations.
Right.
But you're saying coordinate between the
I
two?
mean, if our current hockey association wants to sponsor, I mean, this would just be another use of our facility under the existing agreement. In other words, you don't have to go to a different organization.
Well, I think
Coordinate
it's,
under them
it's
until they
because
get
of the
their 501.
recreation.
Right.
Right now, our association is only a recreational association.
Right.
And he is wanting to create a traveling
Right.
group that travels all around Georgia, the state, even the southeastern United States. You know, so they don't compete on what they actually do. They wouldn't be playing any games. Literally, all they're asking for is a practice time.
Right.
But they're two separate directions that they're going. It would be, you know, it's kind of similar to what we have with our soccer association. We have the Lasers and we have the AFC Lighting. One of them is a recreational league. One of them is more of a travel league. You know, they both coexist together. They have, you know, one person that kind of oversees both of them, and they both have separate boards, but they're two different directions that they travel.
Right, I understand that. I
Harold,
just
can-
wondered, why couldn't they, why couldn't the current association, whether you call it Travel All-Stars or something like that, just for the interim, until they get to Fayette
months,
Hockey moving
maybe.
forward, come up with some kind of a concept where a group could practice together on a proposed travel group out of the rec league? I'm just trying to think
Yeah,
outside
no,
the box.
Great
That's-
question, and I'll ask the hockey president if that's something he's interested in. I mean, up until this point, the interest that I've had from our current association president is that they want to focus on recreation. They don't want anything to do with this travel side of it right now.
Yeah, but if they're losing kids, I'm wondering, and
Yeah.
maybe they have enough kids and it's not a big
Correct.
deal. But I'm just thinking about a stopgap from now
Until they-
this
Few months that
organization-
it's gonna take
Yeah.
to get this thing done.
This
And
organization
it's,
can get their 501c.
is that something that can?
I
that-
definitely will
that-
look into
Pull
it.
that together maybe
'Cause I
with
mean-
the people and see if they can approve it and go ahead and sign up under the Peachtree City one. It has the recreation league, but let them come in on that Sunday to practice.
Yeah,
That would be the way to handle that until you get to 501c.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
Clint
Miss-
gets wound
Miss
up,
Brown.
you can't stop him. Yeah, I mean, it's not for tournament play,
No.
it's for practice.
Yep.
So I really think that the two groups should just work it out, set the time aside. It's got to be an advantage to both groups in some way, shape, or
I
form.
would think so.
It's enhancing their sport, so, I mean, I think that there's
Now-
a way that they should be able to solve it, you know, with that.
Leave this in your hands.
For
One
potentially
coordinator.
3 months or whatever until the 501.
Yeah,
All
once
right.
they
I
get their
sug-
501c designation, then they're eligible to
Yeah,
come
then they're
and
eligible.
ask
Right.
for it. There's no doubt about it.
Correct, because
Okay.
the
I
way,
would-
the way that Mr. Forrestal approached this was he reached out to me and wanted to know what it actually was involved with becoming a youth association.
Yeah.
I presented him with a blank document and said, here's all your checklists that you have
Right.
to go through. Within a matter of a couple of weeks, he started checking out those documents, and he sent that to me, which I've moved up the chain and Ted reviewed in the past couple of weeks.
That's those
but
retired military guys.
I know, we're.
He is
and so,
definitely
you
retired
know,
military.
Okay,
But
so we
can we
have
have,
a way forward.
can we have Justin coordinate this kind of discussion?
It's something that
That you and
hockey-
Harold can figure out?
The Hockey Association is going to have to figure
Right.
out if they want to do that, and that'll
With the
be up to
guidance
them.
of these guys
And
here.
I've
That'll be
also
up to
got,
them.
this is on the Recreation Advisory Group agenda for Monday morning.
Oh, there you
So
go.
this is
Okay.
something we're gonna be discussing there as well.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
sounds like you got it. Thank
Thanks
you,
very
Harold.
You're
All right,
welcome.
Mr. Holland, any other items?
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor. When I was in college, I worked in a liquor store. I was quite popular because everybody wanted me to buy things for them. But they always had tastings in the liquor stores that I worked in where they would bring in the newest of whatever was being done in the alcohol business. They bring it in and they would supply tiny little tastes to everybody. How do you like this new particular alcohol? We don't have that here in Peachtree City. We don't have the ability to have our businesses offer a come and taste this new product that we're selling now. And I'm hoping that we can do and I don't think it'll be, I think it'll be an ordinance change, is that right? We'd have to change the ordinance and allow them to do tastings. Obviously, they would be 21 years old and all of those kinds of things. Comments on that, Jasmine?
So we actually do allow it for wine and beer. The state law recently changed to allow for tastings for liquor.
Correct.
And our ordinance just never changed. I
Would-
believe one of the business owners came and asked if council had any interest in that. And so we just are waiting for guidance on council.
Okay, I'm fine with it. I would move it forward. Anybody else?
I'd move forward with it.
All
Does it
right.
go to planning?
I'm in favor.
Yep.
Like ordinance changes, you don't have to do
You
that?
can have a
think
vote
so.
today
You
on
can just
this one.
change
It's
it.
got to do
If
with
we can
bourbon.
just have a motion to have it added to.
So moved.
Put it in, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get a
Second it.
Yeah,
Clint.
second, okay.
second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anything else, Mr.?
Yes. I've got the third item. I've got quite a few, but I'll go quickly on this one. This is something that I experienced when I was in Augusta, Georgia. It's called the Augusta Rule. And I believe this is something that has been now codified in OCGA at the state, where they suspend the rules during the Augusta Masters Tournament where people can rent their homes to the people who are coming to the Masters Golf Tournament. They can rent their home to the golfers, they can rent them to the attendees, and they rent them for, since it's a 2-week tournament, they rent for 2 weeks. I see that potentially happening here in Peachtree City for the upcoming 26 World Cup. And that's going to be held, I believe, in June and July, from mid-June to mid-July. So I'm suggesting that we take a look at suspending rules and following the Augusta rule of during tournaments like this and how often we're going to get a World Cup here. You know, we'll be lucky to get it in our lifetime again. But let's allow the people, if they want to, rent their homes and follow the Augusta rule, and I know that Ted will probably make sure that we're following whatever legal that's in the OCGA to make sure we stay within the compliance of that for renting homes. But that does come in conflict with our short-term rental, and I know that that's going to have to be discussed a little bit more to make sure it's maybe pushed aside during this period of the World Cup here in the Atlanta area. So I would suggest we put this on the agenda for the next meeting and maybe get some opinions from our council, and maybe we can help out our citizens should they want to rent their home during that period.
I would favor this, but I think we would participate in something more widespread with Fayette Forward leading the way as far as
Perfectly fine.
countywide. And I'd like to know that we're dovetailing in with their program. I think they're thinking about establishing a housing bureau. And if what you're saying is we'd like to allow our citizens to be a part of that, I would be in favor of that.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I'm
Anybody
asking.
else?
Oh, no, I agree. I mean, Clint and I met with Eric Dial about the Fayette Forward, and I know you guys met with him separately, so.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think, do we need a motion on that to put it on the agenda?
It wouldn't be an issue for us if we didn't have the short-term rental ordinance, but we do. So, it's not like anybody can just throw
Is it-
open their doors and do a short-term rental without us addressing this formally from the dais.
But in this case, this would be slightly more than the 30 days because you've got the 4 weeks of the tournament, plus you've got people potentially coming early and leaving late. So you may be looking at slightly more than the 4 weeks, which would be the 30 days. So that's the reason why we've got to look at it quite carefully. But do I need to make a motion on that?
No, hold on. Do you have more comments? Anybody?
No, I'm in agreement.
Okay. What do you need from us to move forward? Justin, Ted?
A motion.
You need a motion? What do
Yeah,
you want
and
the
I wouldn't necessarily say with a specific date or next agenda, just state when it's prepared by.
Yeah,
by
let
Fayette
staff to
Forward, whenever
prepare
it's
whatever
ready,
is
right.
needed, and then
All
put
right.
it on the agenda?
Correct.
Okay.
On a
I'm-
future
Is
agenda.
Fayette Forward
it's
gonna
been-
do an actual formal thing like?
I don't know.
For
I've
what
asked
they-
them for the verbiage. Wouldn't that be nice to have the
Yeah.
verbiage of what we're doing countywide, but I don't have anything yet.
Ted, is there anything that you can think of that would, I mean?
No, I was just looking at the short-term rental ordinance and figuring out if that scenario would apply as opposed, you're talking about basically a one-time thing as opposed to recurring rental of the
Correct.
properties. So why don't you let staff, Shayla and I take a look at that and see what we can do
I
to.
mean,
Good,
it's-
good.
to
It
fix
would
it,
seem
but
like
I-
a
but it
proclamation
sounds
to
like there's-
suspend the restrictions of the short-term rental ordinance from a certain date to a certain date would be kind of what would be needed.
We'll let them
Once we
hash
know
through
what
it.
the-
We'll let staff take a look.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Either suspending the rule or figuring out some sort of an exception. The whole goal, though, I don't want to open the floodgates because
yeah, so this is a one-time issue with
I
something
understand,
like
but
this.
during that time period, I don't want to have the floodgates opened on a bunch of other short-term rentals. Because as we all know, sort of what precipitated some of our short-term rental discussions, it only takes one thing to go awry to where we sort of have the push of why did we do this or why, in more instance,
Right.
the previous time it was why haven't we done something? So.
Ted,
let
you
us-
want
let
to
us
make
take
a
look at it.
motion for us? You want
You
to
wanna
state the
structure
motion?
that motion,
No, he doesn't.
or I'll take a try stab at it.
Well, now I'm just trying to think of, do you want us to bring it back to you as a council staff topic and what we found before you guys
Oh.
formalize it?
I bring it
Oh,
up as
sure,
a-
sure.
Let us do
That
some
would-
homework.
that would
and-
work.
All right.
And bring it back and
That
put it
would
back
We
on
do have
council's
time,
deck.
I mean, it's not till next June.
Yeah.
So we've got 11 months.
All right, good.
So that we don't need a
Anything-
motion then?
No.
Okay.
All right,
But-
anything else?
Yeah.
Let me add too, I know it's not until 11 months, but there are residents or property owners who pay the short-term rental, they would be paying next year, so you definitely would want to know way in advance to avoid them paying and then having suspended.
Well,
the-
hopefully
Well,
we'll
we
get
would
a,
have to
if
just
that was-
decide
we'll
what they.
get something from Fayette Forward, which we'd like to coordinate with. The mayor is absolutely right, we need to coordinate with them. And let's see what they come up with as far as verbiage and stuff like that. That'll help us out maybe in putting this together.
All right, next topic,
Yep,
anybody?
I got one last topic and then I'll be quiet, I promise you.
I don't believe you, but anyway.
The last one is in regards to the burn ban. I was very much in favor of that and still am. But I also listened to not only constituents, but council members here that have brought up that maybe we should look at yes, a burn ban, but have exceptions for those that are like a 3-acre lot and larger. And those are pretty expansive properties here in the city. And I'm suggesting maybe we bring it back and do an exception, maybe modify it ever so slightly to say anybody that's got 3 acres and above can do burning under the permits and all of that for only yard waste, not for leaves. Only for
Leaves are
yard waste.
though, Clint. Leaves are yard waste.
For
You know what
my-
I'm saying?
Yeah.
People will put a big giant pile of leaves, it'll smolder and burn for days. And I don't know if that's really what we want to have in our burning.
Well, we don't. That's why we implemented the ban.
Oh, I agree.
And to be clear, we already covered the acreage situation. We already heard from families whose children are severely impacted. Whether you have, even if you have 3 acres, that smoke wafts over, and that was the entire issue in the first place. I'm not ready to revisit. Let's give it a year or two and see how it's going. Our citizens have options with their own curbside trash hauler. They have options to take it to the mulch pile. They have other options. So I'm not interested in revisiting. We made a good decision. Let's move forward.
I'm actually interested in revisiting, but only for the largest lots. And the issue becomes, it's very difficult for some of the larger landowners, and there are only 100 and something
There's
of them,
124 in the city that are
to actually
3
haul
acres
away
and
the
larger.
trees, the leaves, the debris, and all the stuff. I mean, you have to have pretty much a commercial operation almost
Right.
to haul it away. And we've taken away their ability to burn it, not that all of them would or will or whatever. I think we need to revisit it, honestly.
Ms. Johnson?
I would just say, in respect to being on a council with each other, if something like this, if you want my support, I would appreciate at least a phone call. Not to say that I'm not willing to revisit it and have a conversation about it, but for me to make that decision right here, right now, without details and things like that, I'm not prepared to do that. But I'm happy to have a conversation, and I didn't see this coming, and I would need to work through that.
But the whole reason why we have the discussion during council staff topics is we don't have to talk to everybody about everything before we come into the dais. We can bring it up, and it would be a matter of to put it on a future agenda to discuss it.
Yeah, I
in
don't have
further
any,
detail.
yeah, I don't have any argument with that, but regardless of that, I'm not ready to revisit it right now.
Okay. Any other
2-2 vote?
council staff topics? Clint, anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Ms. Brown?
I have a couple of things. I stumbled across an article. It was actually put out by USA Today on August the 4th, and the title is, "Are Electric Scooters Safe? A Rash of Injuries, Deaths Raises Concerns." And it outlines a 77-year-old man who was killed by an electric scooter while crossing a street in downtown San Francisco. Now, I realize that that's an unusual event, but I mean, that is something. So kind of what I want to talk about is, and I know this is going to be addressed, I'm going to bring it to the tag so that they're already looking at a lot of these issues. But I'd like to verbally put it out there to encourage parents to go ahead and read some of these articles and understand completely and fully the safety issues, and that you're putting something in the hands of your child potentially that, if misused, could cause serious injury and or / death to someone else. And I think back to when skateboards first came out, yes, in the 1960s. And the very first day that we got our skateboards, my sister broke her arm. So, I mean, these things are dangerous, and there were no safety, equipment requirements back then like there are now. But I'd like to kind of just caution parents to be careful when you're handing your child either an e-scooter, e-bike, or whatever. The other thing I'd like to talk about is deer population issues are going to be coming back front and center at our next meeting. So just to make sure that anybody who's wanting updates on, our hunting, et cetera, please focus on coming and watching our next meeting on the 21st. And a reminder that schools are open. And, I hate to say this, but every year we see, people running past school buses with their red lights flashing as they're picking up kids. And I know the police department is out, I've seen them out there trying to catch the people but, just putting out a public service, pay attention in the morning and in the afternoon because, again, kids don't always do the right thing, but we have to, we're adults. So hopefully, for safety reasons, people will watch what they're doing. And that's it.
Okay, Ms. Johnson?
I was gonna mention the back-to-school bash, but that's already been mentioned, so I don't have anything else.
All right, thank you. Do we have the executive session?
We do, Mayor, real estate and pending or threatened litigation.
Can I get a motion?
I move that we move to executive session for pending or threatening litigation in real estate.
Seconded.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?